down. They're doing it really well. Another first down. 6 points for Ward. A pitch out there. Good run for the Hurricanes. MB is going in the air for a bomb. Catch. The Wolverines to 10. 5. Touchdown Woodside. High school football in Newport News, Virginia. It is Heritage versus Woodside. Beautiful view right there from our drone, looking at Todd Stadium, a place we've called home for the last 25 years. Hi again, everybody. I'm Greg Bickaveris along with Nate Milton in the 17th year as we wind up our 4th game of the year with Heritage and Woodside. Nate, who are you keeping an eye on tonight?
Oh, this is going to be a great game, my friend, and I'm keeping a particular eye on Tamir Walker. You know, back in the day, there was a great song by Junior Walker and the All-Stars called Shotgun. Well, the Wolverines don't run out of the shotgun. They run out of that wing tee, but it's going to be some All-Stars tonight with Tamir Walker on that football field.
Heritage has really struggled this year. Woodside's trying to rebound and play a little bit more consistent.
You're absolutely right, Greg. A disappointing season, but both teams need a big win tonight in order to keep their postseason hopes alive. So we're going to see who comes out on top on this cold autumn night.
All right, let's go down to the field and join Hannah Pennant. Hannah.
Thanks, you guys. I actually had the chance to speak with Coach Dotson from Woodside today. He told me that this is a significant game as to where they place in the playoffs. He also told me that what it takes to beat Heritage tonight is going to be a strong defense and an executing offense. So good luck to the Wolverines tonight. Back to you guys.
Great job, Hannah, like always. And, of course, Heritage and Woodside, great rivalry going on in 2015. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. And, of course, you talk about Heritage and Woodside, great rivalry to start things off our 4th game of the year.
Yeah, I can't think of a better way, a better time of year to get this thing going. Once again, there you see both teams getting ready for this contest tonight. Like we mentioned off the top, Greg, a very important game for both squads because they needed to keep those postseason playoff hopes alive.
What are the keys, first of all, for Heritage?
I think for Heritage, what they want to do is they want to come out and establish the tempo. They want to show the pressure on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball in terms of getting that line play going. And if they can control the tempo, if they can control the pace of the game, I think they might be able to hang in here and ultimately beat Woodside. But for Woodside, Greg, it's got to be a steady diet of that wing T offense. It's got to be that ball control. It's got to be playing smart defense, smart offense. And when you got a team coached by Danny the Dean Dotson, the dean of Newport News coaches, they're going to be out there and they're going to be able to execute. So I think both teams have their work cut out for them tonight. It's a very intense game, an intense matchup, and we'll see who comes out here, who wants it more, Greg.
You definitely think the way Woodside's playing and the way Heritage is playing, Woodside will just keep on pounding it on the ground.
Right. On paper, Woodside has the advantage coming into the game. 5-3 versus Heritage, coming in at 3-5. But as the old saying goes, my friend, that's why they don't play the games on paper. Anything can happen on any given night out here on the field. All
right, this is our 4th game of the year. Glad you're with us for our 25th season of high school football. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, the entire crew, and then PSTV crew, the officials, the referee is Bill Dozier, umpire George Adamowski, head linesman Mickey Hartzheim, line judge Mike Mann, side judge John Deck, field judge Philip Groy, and back judge Mike Mitchell, respectively. Woodside, the home team, but both teams play at Todd Stadium, so really, when you look at it, it doesn't matter how it answers up. They're both at Todd.
Yeah, not a real big advantage on either way, either side playing here at Todd Stadium. But I am excited for this coaching matchup, Greg. We're talking about Coach Danny Dodson meeting up with Coach Massenberg for Heritage. And I think you got two great young coaches in this area, and it's going to be a fun game.
And Dodson is only second to Mike Smith. Mike Smith, head coach since 71, Dodson since 99.
It's crazy. Time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. And Danny Dodson has established himself as one of those coaches here in Newport News that, has built a tradition, has built a program here at Woodside, and they've been successful year in and year out. They haven't always been a winner, but they've always been a contender.
Heritage in the white, Woodside in the black, teal, and white uniforms. Kind of like a swimming pool helmet. Love it. Love that swimming pool helmet.
It's a little cold to go swimming this time of year.
Except you go indoors, of course. Great rivalry. Hasn't always been. Nate and I will talk about the top three rivalries in the second half. Nate will do a full report card for all 5 Newport News teams in the third quarter, and the general report card for these 2 teams game day in the fourth quarter. Last year, Heritage beat Woodside 12-7. That doesn't mean nothing tonight.
No, you can take those numbers, as the old cliche goes, and throw them out the window because both teams have something to play for tonight. Both teams want to keep that win going, and it's going to be a dogfight out here on the field.
Special teams. Heritage folks went 11-2 last year. Woodside 7-4. Both made the postseason. Just underway. George Massenberg, who learned so much under Mike Smith at Hampton, the head coach at Heritage. Danny Dodson, only the second coach in 20 years. This is the 20th year of both these schools. Woodside going right to left in the dark uniforms. Woodside, of course, likes the wing T. Strength is the offense. Weakness sometimes is closing in the fourth quarter. And right away, trying to exploit. Nothing there. And I'm always, that's always good to start off with a big play, but, you catch teams off guard. But you want to keep what you do the best, and that's the running game. Start off with that, and then work your way to the passing game.
Right, and, I mentioned Tamir Walker early on in the game, Greg, before we got started, but Tyre Tyler, the quarterback, number 2 on your screen, folks, he's going to be somebody to watch, to see how he directs this offense, both passing the ball and also working that option run out of the wing T. I think both guys are going to be good.
They play 12-minute quarters in the Virginia High School League. 11:52 just underway. Woodside going on the air, and that's complete to number 3, Jakari Lee.
Jakari Lee, the senior, getting a nice pass out in the flats from Tyre Tyler. And, this wing T offense, Greg, it's kind of the old parable of, don't fix something if it's not broke. Danny Dodson's been running out of this system.
He's passing already. Willie Bell used to pass a lot for him.
He's had some great passing quarterbacks that we've talked about over the years, Greg. And that's kind of the thing. He'll lull you into a false insecurity with that run and then pass it right over you.
And that's exactly what Nate was just talking about. Respectively, Tamir Walker. Now, Tamir Walker had a great game in the game we did earlier against Ward.
Yeah, and he's a player that I think does not get a lot of credit for what he brings to the table. Not only is he a good runner out of the backfield, but he can also catch the ball out of the backfield, Greg, which makes him a dual threat. Makes him that much harder to cover, that much harder to defend, and I think that he adds a lot to this offense.
Our fourth game of the year. Glad you're with us. Cox Cable 47-517, NNPSTV.com. 4th and 1. See Tyre Taylor, as Nate alluded to. 25th year of exclusive prep sports on NNPSTV and NNPSTV.com.
And, of course, folks, football has one home, and it's here on NNPSTV and NNPSTV.com.
No score. Glad you're with us. And you look at the games we've done this year. Heritage and Menchville and Warwick and Woodside.
Yep.
And, of course, Denby and Wood.
And it's been a down year, Greg, for the Newport News School teams. But I think that when you look at a team like Woodside, who comes into the night at 5-3, they've got a chance to do something if they continue to put these wins together. The season's coming to an end, but if they can finish off, on a good streak, then I think they've got momentum to carry them into the postseason.
And there's still another week left because of the weather issues from earlier this year in October. So there's still another regular season game after this game, respectively. Woodside on the ground, they get the first and then some. The bread and butter man, number 2, Tahir Taylor.
And that's a good point.
And there you see George Massenberg. Real gentleman right there, struggling big time this year.
Yeah, he's had a down year, but I mean, if you look at what he's done since he's taken over this Heritage program, he's really built them up and brought them back, if not to the heights of the John Quillen legacy, at least to the consistency. They've been consistently good. They've been consistently a team.
Close to Reggie Garrett, at least?
Yeah, I would say he's a
I know you're a Reggie Garrett fan.
Garrett, yeah.
So Garrett would probably be number 2.
Yep.
Massenberg number 3.
Yeah, but I think he's making a quick run for Reggie Garrett as the number 2 coach.
Nowhere there by Woodside.
But yeah, Coach Quillen, he's on that pedal, so they're gonna have to work a little harder to knock him off.
Heritage likes that 4-2-5 defense of George Massenberg. Strength of Heritage is the offense. Weakness is that they're very young. But all teams say they're young.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of football, Greg. A player.
Anytime you're a junior, you're young.
Yeah. A player that starts the year off as a freshman, by the end of that season, he's no longer a true freshman. He's got experience.
Back on the ground again. Great rivalry this is. Love the Heritage's uniforms tonight. Sometimes the away uniforms are better than the home uniforms.
And I like this is the classic kind of Heritage look right there with the black and the teal and the white and the Woodside uniforms. And, Heritage wouldn't be caught dead in the teal and the white, but Woodside loves those colors. But I think that, when you talk about Woodside Wolverines football and you talk about the program that Danny Dotson has built up over the years, to me, Greg, it always comes back to consistency.
Right.
Doing the right things over and over again.
Especially the run.
Yes.
Woodside in trouble. Scrambling. Out of bounds. Sometimes when the quarterback scrambles too much, he doesn't give a whole lot of leverage for the receiver to make the catch in bounds.
No, he ran out of real estate right there. I like Tyler keeping the play alive with his feet, but you got to make a decision faster than that. You either got to get the ball to your player
or run it
you got
yourself.
to throw it out of bounds or run away.
And so much is about footwork too, the big play, offense, defense, special teams. They can't worry about recruiting. A lot of times these seniors start worrying about where they're going to college and they lose focus with still regular season and postseason possibilities.
Yep. And as you mentioned, we've got after this, they've got another game to play. And so, they can't lose focus now, especially when you're a team like Woodside who's right there on the cusp of postseason play.
Flags all over the place. 8:59 left in quarter number 1. Don't forget Sports Scene, folks. Listen to it live with me every Wednesday, noon to 1. On 1650, you see the infraction right there. Also, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Sports Scene, Wednesday from noon to 1. No score. Heritage, the visiting team. Woodside, the home team, respectively. Woodside likes the wing T. 4-4 defense. Strength is the offense. Weakness has been closing. Heritage, of course, likes the spread offense. Defense 4-2-5. Strength is the offense. Weakness, their youth. Woodside back again, as Nate was talking about, when you can't make a decision, just run it yourself. That's a good example right there.
Yeah, I really like that move right there by Tyler. Just pull the ball down. He didn't have anybody open. Go ahead and pick up some positive yards. And I think, when we talk about this wing T offense, when we talk about the Danny Dotson system, Greg, to me it all comes back to having your players buy into what you're selling, having them buy into the program. And these players have done that, year in and year out, because for the past decade or so, Woodside has consistently been a team that they may not win all their games, but they're going to be in most of the games, and you got to watch out for them.
Great graphics right there by our students in the truck. We'll see what Heritage can do. as they keep it on the ground right there respectively by number 2, Nate, Krishawn Shackelford.
Shaq is back with the attack, and he's a player to watch for. You know, I mentioned Walker for the Wolverines, but on the other side of the ball for Heritage, Shackelford is a player that they really use to generate their offense. They set up the pass with that run, and Shaq is a big part of that.
So Nate and I, the last game, as you guys enjoyed, and gals, the top 3 Halloween candies.
Yes.
This time in the second half, we'll talk about our top 3 Thanksgiving dishes.
Okay.
So save that. Out of bounds right there. They have to realize you can't run out of bounds. Number 15, respectively, Watson. Where's Sherlock Holmes when you need him?
It's elementary, my dear Greg. But this is another team, Greg. When we talk about Heritage, I like to keep going back to the coaches because, to me, high school football in particular, more so than college, more so than the pros that we see a flag on the field, it's about the coaches, and it's about what they instill with their teams. And I really like what Coach Massenberg and his staff have put together, because this is a program that was really lost for a few years. And he's come in and given them some new life, and year in and year out, they're going to be in there, they're going to contend, they're going to compete. And even though they're having a down season this year, you can't take them lightly.
First down. Good defense there by the Woodside Wolverines, stopping Shackelford in his tracks. You talk about some great coaches, like Nate said, for Heritage, of course, Pierce and Newsom and Quillen and Garrett over the years. They had some lean years, too.
Yeah, they've had some lean.
Woodside has as well. The thing is, Heritage did better winning the state championship, but Woodside's been the more consistent school.
That's the word.
Because of Danny Dotson.
Heritage has been kind of feast or famine. It's either been the state championship or they've been, down in the dumps. But Woodside, they haven't gotten that state championship, but they've been consistent.
Their biggest issue for them is taking the extra mile in the postseason. You want to get past the first round or the second round.
I mean, every year for the past 15 seasons or so, you've been able to pencil Woodside in for at least 5 or 6 wins a season, and that's pretty good.
Nice tackle right there by the Wolverines. Stopping number 9, respectively, Brandon Jones.
BJ.
Let's take a look at it again, folks.
You're going to see. It's not all about that offense, but that defense as well. Great job. Great recognition by Brandon Jones, getting in there, stopping the play before it had a chance to move. And, of course, folks, you can find us at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at HR Online Mallcom, at Nate Mosaic, at GJBTV, all on Twitter. Thank you for following us, folks. I bet they follow us on Twitter, Greg.
The band.
The band is following us.
The band is out numbering a lot of the fans tonight. Don't forget Nate's Atmosphere coming up later in the game.
Band's had a lot to be excited about.
2 report cards, the overall 5-team report card, and then, of course, this game report card in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so if you're a fan of the report card, we've got a lot of grades to give out today.
Can't wait for that Thanksgiving thing in the second half. Of course, no score, 6:49. Both teams sometimes can feel the pressure late in the season, but fatigue, injuries also play a part.
Yeah, you got fatigue, you got injuries, you got players that just for whatever reason they don't live up to their potential.
Lose focus,
and so that's where it comes down to the coach. Now you see a great shot of the cheerleaders getting the crowd hyped. The coach has got to be the one to kind of get everybody back on the same page and get the focus back. And you've got 2 excellent coaches here with Coach Massenberg and also with Coach Danny Dotson. And so it'll be interesting to see, who can get their guys focused, who can get the team ready and out there playing up to their full potential, because this game is very important for both teams. Even though Heritage comes into tonight at 3-5, if they win this game, they still got an outside shot at making the postseason, Greg.
Hurricanes in the white, throwing it up the middle, complete. Might be the best play of the game so far to number 9, Brandon Jones.
Excellent job by Jones, the senior, 5'8", 165, was able to go up there, get it, bring it down. Nice job by BJ.
Let's take a look at it again, folks. And the quarterback had his time, wasn't pressured, and had good footwork.
Yeah, does a great job. Good blocking up front. Has time to stay back there and look down the field. And right there, nice job finding Brandon Jones in between 3 defenders. Good pickup for the Heritage Hurricanes.
Heritage right there. They lost to Lake Taylor. They beat Warwick. Lost to Hampton, beat Menchville. Lost to Bethel, lost to Phoebus. Lost to Gloucester, and they beat Kickingham. The Gloucester game really deflated the air out of their season so far.
Yeah, I think that Gloucester game, Greg, that was the one that, and then we got a player down the field. That Gloucester game, Greg, that's the one that really turned the season for Heritage.
Woodside lost to Rock Hill in South Carolina. Beat Menchville. Gloucester lost to Hampton. Beat Warwick on Ayer. Beat Bethel, beat Denby. Lost to Phoebus in a shootout. See the injured player right there, respectively.
It looks like Kamari Jackson. KJ, the junior. He's a free safety. Also plays a little bit of strong safety, so it's good to see him being able to walk off the field on his own power.
The low-scoring game helps Heritage.
Yes.
No score, 6:42 left in the first quarter. They played 12-minute quarters. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton. Wednesday and Friday, then unite for football.
There you go. You know, football is just not for Sundays and Saturdays anymore, folks. Wednesdays, Fridays, you can check us out 7 p.m. on NNPS TV and NNPSTV.com.
See the fans right there? Flags all over the place.
And you bring up, Greg, the point that, you know, the slower paced game favors Heritage. And I think that's a great point because while sometimes they will throw the deep pass a little bit more often than Woodside will, it's the
penalties are hurting both teams right now.
Yeah, and I think the closer the game is, the more it favors the underdog. And in this case, Heritage being the underdog, they want to keep this thing close.
And one thing about our Newport News schools, we've got a lot of famous alumni over the years. 6:32 left in the first quarter. Greg Bicaveras, Nate Milton, no score. We're at Todd Stadium in Newport News, our 25th year. See the referee, Bill Dozier. Famous alumni, Nate Milton, take it away.
AC from Heritage, we got Daryl Blackstock from Woodside, Adrian Boo Motley from Denby, of course, head coach Mike Tomlin of the Super Bowl winning Steelers from Menchville, Al Toon, and from Warwick, of course, number 7 himself, Michael Vick.
And you talk about Blackstock played for, you know, the Raiders and the Bengals.
And
Al Toon played for the Jets. Michael Vick, of course, you know, with the Steelers now, of course.
And then you know Mike Tomlin had to have that connection.
Tomlin's more of a coach than a player.
Yeah.
And, of course, Motley with Miami.
Yes, and then what a fantastic player she's turned
We're
out to
hoping
be.
she makes the WNBA. I think she might be a WNBA caliber player. She needs to work on her weight a little bit and her strength and her conditioning, but overall, she's got the makings of a WNBA player.
She's got the physical tools. It's just a matter of can she put it all together.
Working up, yep, exactly. Sometimes you have all that potential, but the NBA, they don't lie.
I mean,
there's no gray area in the NBA. What you're seeing with Kobe in his 20th year, but people don't understand. Garnett's played longer and been injured very little.
Yes.
Kevin Garnett, to me, is a freak of nature.
Then you see Coach Massenberg. The thing to get to that next level, Greg, and then you talk about Daryl Blackstock, and one of my favorite stories is one he told, I'll tell you after this play.
Heritage on the ground. He saw that famous alumni graphic, and he wants to be a famous alumni, too.
He wants to be a famous alumni.
Roy Johnson.
Great job by Roy Johnson, Jr. But the thing about Blackstock, it was right after Al Davis had passed, and he put on Twitter that you see Coach Massenberg getting hyped about that last play, that Coach Al Davis had called him personally when he signed with the Raiders and said, you know, I want you to wear the silver and black, and how much that meant to Daryl Blackstock. And it's just like, wow.
Played for the Bengals, too.
Played for the Bengals as well with Coach Marvin Lewis, who are undefeated right now at the moment. So it's a great tradition, and we have so many players and coaches from this area that have made it to that next level.
Heritage smart keeping on the ground. Sometimes you start throwing a pass in the red zone that can be dangerous.
Well, you don't want to work so hard to get into the red zone and then give the ball right back. That's the problem that we've seen at some teams at the NFL level. They'll do nice 80-yard drives and then throw an interception right when they get inside the 10 or 15.
No score, first quarter. Heritage going left to right in the white uniforms. Beautiful night for football in Todd Stadium as we move into November. That's what Nate and I were talking about.
Got him.
Let's see what the referee calls it. TD. 6 points for Heritage.
Got him. Nice job right there. I thought they were going to go with Shaq down low here in the red zone, but here you see it, Greg. Nice job by Boyd. Good block right there by Shaq. And there you see it. He catches it right there. Number 15, Amanye Watson. And that touchdown was elementary. My dear Watson, the Hurricanes strike first.
And that's the guy I'm keeping an eye on is Boyd. How will he react? Their season's on the line about possibly getting in the postseason. It won't be easy, but they can start it off with a win tonight.
There you go. And they've now got the lead 7-0. The Hurricanes on
and
top
Boyd's a junior, too.
Of the Woodside Wolverines. And the thing about Boyd, the times we've had to see him this year, Greg, he's got the tools. It's just a matter of can he consistently put it together.
Next year has got to be his year.
Next year has got to be Boyd's year.
7-zip Hurricanes with 4:32 left in the first quarter. Greg Bickaveros, Nate Milton. You talk about that consistency again. Woodside, 2 coaches in 20 years. I mean, not many teams can say that
That's
in
incredible.
the state of Virginia.
That is just an incredible stat.
Bob Schmidt and, of course, Danny Dotson, where Heritage has had a whole hodgepodge of kind of like your Twitter buddy.
The crazy thing is, as long as I've been out of high school, that's how long Danny Dotson has been coaching here at Woodside, just about. It's unbelievable. I'm coming up on my 20th high school reunion, and
this is your 17th year with us.
Dotson's coming up on his 18th year next season, so 2016 is going to be a big year.
That's it. Let's get to 2015 first.
Hey, we're almost there, my friend.
Though.
We're knocking on the door.
Or as Yoda would say, since we're in Star Wars season, be mindful of the future.
There you go. We'll see if the force is going to awaken for Woodside right now, though.
Yes, sir. 7-zip Heritage, 4:32. Both teams just trying to get the kinks out early. It's almost like that first quarter is always the vulnerable quarter. You've had a week off, and it's almost like, you've just gotten off practice all week, and you're trying to put a game plan together. A lot of times in the NFL, they have those first several plays that are structured. High school, sometimes that doesn't always work that way.
No, and it's almost like a prize fight. You don't want to go out there and just start throwing punches because you might end up getting knocked out on the canvas. But, you got to kind of feel out your opponent, see what type of energy they're playing with, and respond accordingly. And right now we're seeing Heritage comes out, strikes first, draws first blood. Can Woodside respond?
This game is almost like tug-of-war so far. And Woodside will advance even more. Bill Dozier's referee crew. Want to thank Jim Mayhew as well. Of course, Heritage looking to Boyd and Shackelford as their 1-2 punch. Woodside looking to, of course, Tyler and Tamir Walker, the T-Man.
Yes, the T-Man. And here's the thing about Heritage. They've got some talented players. You talk about Boyd, you talk about Shackelford, who led the team with over 700 yards and 4 touchdowns rushing last season. They've got some players, but I think next year is the year for Heritage. I think this year they're still a little bit young, like that old cliche goes.
Still a little bit of a hangover from last year.
Last year they had a great season, went 11-2, went deep into the playoffs, and you had some seniors leave, and so now we'll see who can step up.
Woodside in the air, deep.
Hello.
Complete. Nice catch there by number 3, Jakari Lee.
Jakari Lee.
Rhymes with his number.
Talk about stepping up. Who's going to step up? Tyler makes a long-distance call to Jakari Lee. He didn't even have to dial 9 to get out for that one. He just had to dial 3 folks. Jakari Lee coming down with it. He's the only one that's got it. Jakari Lee with a big play for the Woodside Wolverines, and they are moving the ball now, folks.
He didn't need a landline or a cell phone that time. Fax machine, nothing.
You got to tweet it out.
He just tweeted that out.
Hashtag first down.
You're not kidding. Don't forget, follow us all year long at Greg Bick, at N8 Mosaic on Twitter. Again, you rarely see Facebook acknowledged on TV.
Yeah, because I think Facebook,
it's almost like the social, like I had a birthday cake.
It's still popular, but it's not nearly as communicative as Twitter is. Twitter is kind of like a shared experience.
And quarterback keep out of bounds.
Like, you don't have a community. Like, when people are watching a football game or watching Empire or watching the Floyd Mayweather fight, they don't get on Facebook to talk about it anymore. They hop on Twitter because they know that's where the conversation is being held. You can talk to anybody on Twitter, celebrities, musicians, people all the way from Donald Trump to maybe somebody like Sam Price. Everybody is on Twitter. You never know who you're going to run into.
How about Stu Gotts?
Stu Gotts, yes. Stu Gotts, buddy. I love that show.
The best thing is they don't talk about sports that much.
No, they don't.
And there's the throw. Woodside answers back. Woodside answers back. Number 34, respectively.
Deontay Chesson.
The train.
Chesson did a great job. And Chesson, we talked about this the last time we did a Wolverine game, Greg. Chesson's only a freshman. He's going to get better. And there you see Tyler looking for a player, does a good job stepping up, avoiding the rush, finds Chesson, hits him right there. Chesson does the rest of the work. Chugga, 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 choo, choo.
He had to watch where his feet were almost in the line of scrimmage, too.
Great job by the Wolverines. Like, that's how you want to respond, Greg. They gave up the touchdown on one end, came right back down the field and scored their own touchdown.
Special teams extra point. And they fake it. They get 2.
Wow.
Great job by the Wolverines being proactive and getting 2 points by number 45, respectively. The Outlaw, Conrad Outlaw.
Conrad Outlaw.
And he, totally fooled everybody. Not yours truly, though.
Somebody put out an APB for that Outlaw because he just snuck into the end zone. Great job by Danny Dotson on that call.
He wanted that lead. Dotson did not want to be behind Heritage. Not this year.
Man, that's what I like about Dotson. He's not afraid to take chances.
Early. And when you're going to take chances, you want to take it in the first quarter when you still have time to make it up.
Yep. That was
kind of like what you saw in the first game of the World Series a while back when Cespedes tried to make that backhand catch.
Yeah.
Disrespecting. I mean, that set the tone for the World Series when he was just trying to make a one-hand backhand catch, basically like saying, I'm not respecting this World Series enough.
To me,
bit them that first game.
It's about the fundamentals. You got to do it right before you can do it pretty. And if you're out here trying to showboat or style,
it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah, it's going to catch up to you. And so that's what Danny Dotson did not want. He wants to come out here, play fundamental football, and make some things happen.
And that play set up the World Series, just like so far that 2-point conversion has got them that psychological lead. Yep. We're better than you.
Yep. Just even though it's only 2 points, it's like, hey, we came out here and we got you. So now we're going to see if Woodside can keep this momentum going, or will Heritage be able to respond? Wow.
Woodside being proactive, and it works again. So what happened is Heritage got a little comfortable, and now they're trailing.
Yeah, that was a nice little squibber right there, a little squib kick. Woodside recovers, and they got all the momentum. Wow.
All right, let's go to an interview right now with the one and only Hannah Pennant.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Principal Hockman of Woodside High School. So what are some good things happening at Woodside currently?
A lot of cool things. The field hockey team, for the first time ever, has qualified for regional competition. We're real proud of them. And the volleyball team will be playing in the conference tournament coming up soon, and they got some really big chances to move on. So we're proud of both of them.
That's great. So what are you doing to prepare for homecoming week 1.5?
I want to make sure it's really calm and we have a good time, and I know our kids are going to do a great job and really enjoy the whole week.
So having a setback in homecoming, what's making this week so important now?
One of the big things is this will be our last game of the year. This is a great way to build up to it. If we have a good chance of making it into the playoffs, we're going to have to beat Kickintan. So maybe we can bring that spirit to the Kickintan game and move on into the playoffs.
For sure. So how do you think your boys are going to do tonight playing Heritage?
Right now we're up 8-7. I'm predicting 57-7 tonight.
All right. Well, good luck to the Wolverines. Back to you guys.
Great interview right there by Hannah. And, of course, the score is 8-7 Woodside with 2:10 left in the first quarter. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton.
And this has been a pretty action-packed first quarter, my friend. For the past few weeks, we've had slow starts to these games, but both teams are coming out here trying to make some things happen early on.
Woodside again on the quarterback run. And he makes something out of nowhere. Excellent maneuvering right there by Tahir Tyler.
Wow. They should have had him in that backfield, but Tyler did a great job tap dancing like Gregory Hines back there. Was able to find a way to escape the rush and pick up some positive yardage.
Woodside, hey, whatever works, works. You got to try the trick play sometimes too.
I'm telling you, sometimes
it's trick or treat season.
It's not about the what's on the paper, Greg. Sometimes it's about that instinct. You got to feel the game, and Tyler's done a great job tonight with
this. Is an ego thing. Dotson does not want to lose to Heritage.
No.
That's what that 2-point was all about. This is a coaching chess match tonight, folks. Two best coaches in Newport News right here.
And the thing I like about it, Greg, not just two of the best coaches, but two young coaches. Like, they've got years ahead of them. So we're going to get to see this rivalry develop and grow over the years if both guys stay put. Like, I would love to one day, 10 years from now, be talking about Coach Dodson and talking about Coach Massenberg in the same way we talk about some of those great coaches in Hampton and Phoebus over the years.
Like Mike Smith and Coach Kaz and Coach D. Less than a minute left in the first quarter. Zip pass complete. Nice run right there on the catch by number 3 for Woodside, respectively, Jakari Lee.
Jakari Lee. Another big reception by Lee, and Lee's been the setup man. He's been able to get Woodside into the red zone on a couple of occasions tonight, and now we'll see who they use to go in.
Perfect clear air tonight. Great time to pass and run, and Woodside's taking advantage of both.
Talking about clear air right there. Looking like he is clear for takeoff. Jakari Lee, no, that's not chopper 10. That's chopper number 3, Jakari Lee, and he is on the runway, folks.
Bulldozing his way through. Six more points. So now it's 14-7 Woodside. Just like that, they were down 7-zip. 14 unanswered points.
And that's what those passes will do for you, Greg. It opens up the running lanes on the inside, softens up the defense, and we saw right there, Tyler was able to hand it off to number 4, Dimitri Banks, up the middle, just a straight play up the gut, and they were able to score again. Woodside now has the momentum. We'll see, will Heritage be able to respond? And we'll also see, will Danny Dotson go for the extra point this time, or is this another fake?
You didn't fool us. Got a good kicker. It's good. 15-7 Woodside over Heritage. Again, last year, Heritage won. Heritage won last year 12-7. Woodside's already up 15-7 in the first quarter tonight.
It's like somebody hit the acceleration button, Greg, because we were moving along at a slow pace early on, and then all of a sudden, bang, Heritage scores, Woodside scores, and Woodside comes back with another score.
Really, Woodside's kind of like you said, the consistent team. Last year, they made the postseason, lost to Oscar Smith 52-7, and pretty consistent year, 7-4. They're 5-3 now. They're on pace for the same type of year. But again, Dotson and that program want to go deeper in the postseason.
Yeah,
when you play teams like Oscar Smith, you get a roadblock every time.
They're ready for that next step. It's like the old saying, always the bridesmaid, never a bride. Well, Danny Dotson's ready to get married now. This Woodside Wolverine team is ready to hop that broom and get hitched up, and we'll see if they can do that in the postseason.
And right now, Heritage is a little rattled. The onside kicks, the 15 unanswered points, they can't breathe and say, we got this.
Well, you mentioned, Greg, Danny Dotson does not want to lose this game, so he's pulling out all the stops early
in the first quarter. Heritage got a nice win against Kecoughtan, but it's just been too far in between this year.
And that Gloucester loss really hurt them because that's a team that they should beat regularly.
This year, Woodside has gotten one shutout over Ward. Where Heritage, they got shut out by Lake Taylor. And that kind of set the tone for the season when they lost to Lake Taylor 54-0. And they really have not rebounded since.
No.
That first game kind of like is so much pressure because you have the whole offseason to think about it, the conditioning, the workouts, the summer practice, the summer heat, playing more sports, gearing up for that first game. Then all of a sudden the helium balloon pops and you lose 54-0 to Lake Taylor, another perennial power.
And they came in there. You see the cheerleaders having a lot of fun here on senior night. They came into the season with such high hopes, Greg, because of the record last year and going deep into the playoffs. And like you said, that air got let out of the balloon really quick. We talk about the Patriots deflate gate. This was their deflate gate because they lost all of their momentum at the end.
And the quarter gate now comes to an end. What the score? It is Woodside 15, Heritage 7. We'll be back after these messages.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a scientist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be an engineer.
Our younger students have the right idea. Today's leading careers are involved in science, technology, engineering, and math. Newport News Public Schools has embarked on an aggressive STEM education initiative that prepares students to take full advantage of STEM opportunities in higher education and career fields. So, what do you want to be when you grow up?
All right, 15-7 Woodside just starting the second quarter. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton here in Newport News, Virginia. Glad you're with us for high school football, our fourth game of the year. And you saw 3 of our games have all been blowouts. We're hoping tonight it'll be a little bit closer, and so far we're on to a good start.
Yeah, both teams started out a little slow, but then, Woodside thought they could stop Heritage. Heritage finally got into the end zone, drew first blood. Then Woodside came back and scored. Went for 2, got that, and then hit him with an onside kick. It had a little pooch kick, if you will, and were able to recover that and score again. So right now we'll see, does Heritage have what it takes to step up and respond to Woodside?
Heritage has had trouble sustaining the entire year. That's been their issue. Good game and a couple bad games after that. And you look at the streaks.
Jeremiah Boyd, the number 2, Trey John Shackelford brought down. On the Wolverines, number 10, Kendall Bell. 6-yard gain on the play for assistance for the Heritage Hurricanes from their own 48.
See the beautiful field right there. The field's kept in pretty good conditioning toward the end of the season here. 10:45 left till intermission. And again, nowhere. And what you're seeing right now for Heritage and Boyd, their confidence is starting to shake.
Yeah, not only is their confidence starting to shake, but
flags all over the place.
Flags on the field, but maybe more importantly, Greg, Woodside's confidence is growing.
Right.
And when you have the combination of those two things, it's going to make it very tough on the offense because that defense is coming. It's an underrated Woodside defense, and they can get back there and harass you if you let them get some confidence behind them. A penalty is against the Wolverines. We see
Fans
the fans out here.
Fall attire.
It's getting a little cooler.
And you need some boosts like this, the penalties and so forth, because the big plays will take care of itself. Nice crowd on the Woodside side. Not so much on the Heritage side tonight.
Again, the cheerleaders out here having a good time for senior night. Some festivities before the game, but now it's all about the game. It's all about what's on the field.
We'll get a scoring recap in just a moment. 15-7. Heritage trailing with the ball. There's Boyd throwing it. Caught.
Wow.
For a TD. Again. Watson. We said tug of war in a chess match. That's exactly what it's been so far. Heritage in the white scores, and they just get through to the red zone and score.
Great job. Nice spiral by Jeremiah Boyd. Finds Watson. Watson does a good job of elevating. Then he gets to the end zone, skipping and a hopping, a jumping and a jiving. Great pass by Jeremiah Boyd and great reception by the 6'2 junior, Amanye Watson.
I mean, this is a 5-point margin last year. The special team is going to be big tonight, folks. Flags all over the place at 10:22. We've said that way too many times tonight.
I'm telling you. You know, we were just saying, Greg, Heritage is going to have to come up with something to get the momentum back, and they just did. And, of course, folks, you're watching Prep Football on Cox Cable 47 and Newport News, Verizon Fios 17, and, of course, NNPSTV.com.
Score is currently 15-13 Woodside. Scoring recap, Nate Milton.
All right, starting in the first quarter, we had Jeremiah Boyd pass to Amanye Watson. The score was 7-0 in favor of the Heritage Hurricanes. Tyler came back, though, and hit a pass to Deontay Chesson for the score. And Woodside went for the 2-point conversion, which was successful by Conrad Outlaw. 8-7 was your score. And then right before the end of the first quarter, Dimitri Banks ran in the touchdown run. 15-7 was your score at the end of the first quarter. And as we saw moments ago, Jeremiah Boyd once again hit Amanye Watson with the pass.
Heritage for 2, and they connect.
Heritage gets 2 now.
We're tied up, folks.
Hello.
We are tied up.
Wow.
I told Ray Price before the game, this will be our Super Bowl of the season, our best game of the 4. This is our wild card game, and glad we chose it.
Great game.
15 all. This is not tennis either. But we're just getting started.
And I'll tell you what, Greg, for years, this has been kind of the home of the unofficial Mythical City Championship. These have been the 2 best teams in Newport News, so it's fitting that we're going to have a battle tonight. Even though Heritage is coming in at 3-5 and Woodside is 5-3, those records don't mean anything because these are 2 teams that know each other well, and they're going to play hard tonight.
Does that mean it's the best rivalry, though?
That's the question. Now, we've had people talk to us on Twitter. People hit us up and say, hey, is Woodside and Heritage the best rivalry in Newport News? It's a good rivalry, folks, but I don't think it's the best rivalry.
See right there, number 8. Jeremiah Boyd. Of course, both these quarterbacks will be back next year.
And that's going to be very exciting to see both Boyd and, of course, Tyler coming back. I think you can expect big things.
So much of a good, consistent quarterback.
Expect big things out of both teams next year.
That's one thing Hampton always did. They had those quarterbacks start as freshmen and sophomores, so you've had it for several years. Not like you're going to get a Curry that often, but still, it helps if you do.
Well, not only that, but, you had the guys that were groomed in season, but when they became seniors, you had the other guys ready to roll after them, whether it's Curry or Tyrod Taylor. You always had another guy that was ready to step up and take that spot, and that's what you need if you want to consistently win, because the quarterback position is one of, if not the most important positions in football.
Woodside on the ground. It's a tug-of-war match, like we said. Both teams made the postseason last year. As you see right there, Tamir Walker, we compared him to Archie Griffin in one of our games we did.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that much of
Been kind of quiet tonight. Woodside back in the dark uniforms on the ground, going left to right in the wing T. Of course, Heritage has had great players like Bruce Royal, Larry Davis, Michael Johnson.
There you see, folks, rising 11th graders. If you are interested in TV production, call Telecom for info or to schedule a tour. Call 591-4687, extension 0. That is 757-591-4687, extension 0. And you can earn college credit here from the Telecom program. I am a graduate of the Telecom program, and I can tell you, folks, if you're interested in the world of TV production, broadcasting, it is a great learning experience. And, Ray Price is a good person to learn from. So if you're interested, if you're an 11th grader, give him a call. Rising 11th grader, give him a call.
15 all. Ditto on that comment. In the Todd Stadium Cool Air Newport News. Hope you enjoyed the drone shot for our opening.
You know, Greg, I don't give endorsements out for free. So, the fact that I'm endorsing Ray Price for free, that just should tell you how much I think of that man. Anybody else I need to check.
It's all about that green light coming on. Green light, red light, whatever you want to say.
I'm telling you.
Green means go on the road. Red means go on TV.
There you go. When that red light's on, it's time to go.
Never understood why wasn't a green light for the TV cameras.
That's a good question.
Because red means stop.
That's a really good question.
Maybe we should change that, Nate. All right, 15
you
all.
change the entire television industry.
8:30. Let's get an app for it. Woodside in the air. Both teams just going back and forth, all inclusive. High school football tonight, running, passing, special teams. Good football game tonight. A nice catch right there by number 10, respectively, for Woodside. Kendall Bell, he rang the bell that time.
There you go. Speaking of, there's an app for that. There's an app for a great receiver, and Kendall Bell doing a great job, looking like Archie Bell in the Drells, if you will, tightening up on that particular reception. That's what you want to see if you're a Woodside Wolverine fan. You want to see them continue these extended drives and wear down that defense of the Heritage Hurricanes.
Dotson's teams are not going to self-implode.
Wow. Well, they almost did right there, Greg. A little bit of a mishandle on the snap.
Sometimes that center connection.
So Woodside recovered, but they did lose some yardage on the play. But, yeah, that's the type of mistakes that you can't afford to have, Greg.
Heritage, folks, has made the postseason in 99, 2000. Big gap. Then again to 2007, 12, 13, and 14. We'll go over Woodside's postseason years in a moment. And nowhere goes Tyler. He gets sacked. Woodside, Nate, they didn't make it to 04. So you're talking about they started in 96.
Right.
They made it in 04, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, 13, and 14.
And that's what we talk about. It
took a long time for Woodside to get there.
Right. It took them a long time to get there. But once they got there, they were like, we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But for Heritage, it's been up and down. Like we said, feast or famine. They won a state championship.
Big gap from 00 to 7.
They won a championship in 2000. Then they were out. They were in the wilderness for 7 years.
Then 7 to 12. They made it now 3 years in a row.
And now you see, Coach Massenberg starting to build up that consistency.
But we don't know about 15. The verdict's out. Woodside has a chance they win this game. Scrambling again. Tyler throwing it. Nice catch.
Wow.
These kids are buttoned up tonight, folks. Jakari Lee.
That was an escape.
He's making college-level catches tonight.
Looking like Houdini making that escape. I don't know how Tyler got away from that pressure, Greg.
He knows he's on TV.
He said he doesn't care if it's a green light or a red light. If the light's on, he's going to play.
That's it. 15 all is the score.
Big-time play by Tyler and Jakari Lee.
Woodside going left to right in that wing T offense, but they really fooled Heritage with a lot of passing tonight. Just like that. Staying on a balancing act. Replay or not. It's like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Tyler Lee's a magician out there. He's even making our replays disappear.
Of course, Nate, we'll pause and play. Colleges, Virginia Tech really struggling.
Yeah, it's hard because as a fan of both Frank Beamer and, of course, Mike London, you hate to see them struggle.
And Old Dominion ain't playing much better.
ODU's had their share of troubles. And I think, Greg, as much as I hate to say it, this might be it for Mike London.
And, of course, the NFL, the rich keep getting richer with the Patriots. I mean, that just shows you it doesn't matter about the football. They are the best team since Belichick has been there.
Well, that's the key. It's not just a team. It's like what we talk about with Woodside or with
consistency of one coach.
Consistency, building up an organization, and that program, that Patriot program, it's hard to beat.
It's almost like Belichick is the head surgeon and Brady is his top doctor.
I got one for you, Greg, since we are in Star Wars season. It's almost like Belichick is the Emperor and Tom Brady is Darth Vader.
Nate's Comedy Club up here tonight. And speaking of comedy, there's Bill Dozier. 15 alls to score, 6:30 left. Woodside keeps going backwards. They don't want to do that. This lead at halftime will be big. I mean, this is really a competitive game. Both teams right now just tug of war, chess matches between the two coaches. Really, all the ingredients, all the elements are right here for this football game. This most relevant game we've done this year is tonight. Up the middle, incomplete. Wow. That got lost in the air right there.
Wow, when there's a flag
flags all over.
Wow, that was unfortunate for Heritage. They did a good job of breaking up that pass, but I think the officials are going to call that was unnecessary roughness on Heritage. But I've been impressed with the way that Tyler has slung that ball. And there you see, folks, YouTube. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Telecom page because these kids are doing great work. You want to see what they've got going on here.
Let me say something about that page. I tweet every football game we do, so YouTube is so accessible with Twitter, and that's the key. We can actually tweet a 4-quarter football game, just like
YouTube
that.
And Twitter work very well together. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
And Carl Daniels is a big part of that. Kudos to CD. He's not quite yet a DVD, but he's a CD.
He's a CD. It's hard to believe, Greg. CDs are obsolete now.
DVDs are too almost.
It's crazy that the way technology moves so fast.
And nice run right there. Just not on his feet, not on his best tonight so far. Number 23, respectively.
To number 23,
Tamir Walker. Both teams being proactive.
We talked to some of these kids here at the Telecom program. They don't understand how great it was to listen to a record or a CD back in the day.
Yep, and of course Woodside's had great players like Willie Bell and Stephon Welsh and Billy Kennedy over the years.
Aaron Evans might be my favorite quarterback that's put on that uniform because he was a great passing threat as well as a running threat. And that could be a costly penalty for Woodside, for Heritage, as it gave Woodside the first down in the red zone. And we'll see if Woodside is able to take advantage. There you see the score, folks. 15-all, tie game here. And, of course, Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, and at N8 MOZAIK, at Nate Mosaic. Thank you for following us, folks.
We had 3 shutouts, really just blowouts over the years. But tonight we got a good one.
Hey, we had three blowouts, but this is going to be a great game, folks. You don't want to go anywhere. This is senior night here at Todd Stadium for Woodside. The fans are out for Woodside, not so much for Heritage, but this Hurricane team is still going to play hard.
Yep, 4:59 left to intermission, 15-all. And it happens, teams get shut out, they get blown out. I mean, again, we go back to setting the tone for that first game where Lake Taylor beat Heritage 54-0. And then Woodside could have fallen all over themselves too when Hampton beat them 36-20. But Woodside another scare when they beat Bethel, and of course they beat Denby recently too, and they lost to Phoebus.
Yeah, and we
shutouts and blowouts go hand in hand.
Halloween was recently, Greg, and I'll tell you, there's some scary teams, some frightful teams here in this area. You talk about Hampton, Phoebus, some of those teams on the other side of the water. Like it's not easy to play around here, and if you're going to be the best, you got to test yourself against that competition.
It's a 10-week season. If you don't stay focused, you lose focus, and you lose your grasp in the playoffs. That's why from week 1 it's just as important as week 10.
Well, even with a team like Gloucester, you can't take anybody for granted here because we saw what Gloucester did to Heritage.
Right, and of course, when you get Hampton back in the day, you would get them early in the season when they were still trying to get their kinks out.
Yep.
But they've been the most consistent team. We called it all year long.
This is a return to the Hampton teams of the 90s. The
return to the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi named Mike Smith. Return of the Smith, are you saying? I'm really excited for Star Wars. I can't wait.
In December, of course. Tyler throws it. Incomplete. Ooh. That could have been picked easily.
Very close to being intercepted. Good coverage by the Heritage Hurricanes.
Still 15 all, 4:29 left. Bands are excited to be here tonight. Of course, great job all year long by everybody in the school board, the Newport News school system, for giving us the opportunity to televise these games respectively. Our 4th game. Our records, we've done 7 in 2000, and we did 7 a few years ago as well.
Ironically enough, both during
Heritage. Of course, we had teams that made the postseason back then, too.
And it's been Heritage both times.
Yeah, we're waiting for Woodside now to get deep into the playoffs. And good defense right now. Heritage just tries, if they can, just hold them to a field goal if they can.
Yeah, if Heritage can hold them to a field goal, that would be an excellent victory on this particular drive. But, you mentioned you would like to cover Heritage Woodside deep in the playoffs. There you see, folks, sports highlights Monday at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. And, of course, Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. here on Cox Channel 47 and Verizon Fios 17.
In November, of course, you've been seeing head football coach at Bethel and also Billy Mann, Old Dominion basketball radio analyst. Tyler in the air. Good defense there by the Hurricanes. Nice tackle right there by number 21, respectively, Darrell Walker.
Walker did a great job not letting him advance one step after that reception. But here's the thing, Greg. You talk about Woodside making that next step in the postseason. I'd love it because, Danny Dodson.
You know what happened last year when they played Oscar Smith.
Yeah, that was not pretty. But here's the thing, Greg. I think, just losing by 1 point, 6-7.
They lost 52-7 last year to Oscar Smith. But like you said, whether you lose by 1 or 45,
that's the thing. If you lose by 1 point, I think I'd rather lose by 1 point than be blown out, 52-7.
Right.
Because at least that way you say, okay, we were there.
And you made the postseason, but all you remember is that 52-7 game.
Right.
That's the last game of the year.
So it's like, would you rather not even make the playoffs? That's a question.
Ask Gloucester that. All right, it's 15 all. Woo. Deep in the second quarter. They're all tied up. We'll take a break and be back after these messages right here for Prep Football.
Fusion Fitness with Alexis. Tune in weekdays 6:30 a.m., Mondays 7:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m.
Cox Cable 47 517 NNPSTV.com. They really been just an even ball game. The question is, in the second half, who's going to want it the most?
Right. It's been a tug of war. For a while, it seemed like Woodside had control, but Heritage came right on back.
Touchdown as soon as you said it. Woodside gets the lead again by number 10. Kendall Bell rang the bell.
Kendall rang the bell. Kendall Bell and the Drells tightening it up in the end zone. Great job by the Woodside Wolverines. And again, Greg, that tug of war, now it's Heritage's move. Can you respond? Top that.
These teams are evenly matched, even though Woodside's got a better record.
Yeah, on paper, Woodside should be running away with this thing, but we all know that this is a rivalry game. And
put the records away.
Throw the records away. Two great head coaches, two great staffs, two great teams of young players. They're going to want to come out here on TV and make a statement.
And the kick is up, and it's good. So 7-point lead for the Wolverines. Of course, the college Wolverines, Michigan doing very good under Jim Harbaugh.
I think Danny Dodson dresses a little bit better than Coach Harbaugh at Michigan with the sweater tucked into the khakis. But yeah, Michigan is doing well, and of course your Ohio State Buckeyes, they're always a fun team to watch.
But neither team has played with a full battery this year.
No. 22-15 there.
And you wonder if it's a little bit too late.
It's college football is so interesting, Greg, because it's weird to see, getting a gauge on how these teams stack up and compare to each other. Like, I don't know how good Utah is. I don't know how good, Oregon is at this point in the season.
It's like in high school football, too. You really don't know. You look at like games, There's Danny Dodson, who's been with Woodside since 1999, was an assistant with Tommy Riemann. Tutored under Jimmy Laycock and Wayne Mary, the head coach there since 1980. And you look at it, you go back to that Gloucester game in which they beat Heritage 32-21. Woodside beat them 49-14. So you can't go by like scores even. But these two teams on paper are showing they're pretty even tonight. But again, it is week 9.
And Woodside again tried to go for the little squibber.
And Heritage almost kicked it like a soccer ball. Not quite the World Cup.
But the thing about Danny Dodson, I love the way he coaches these players, but also I love the fact that he's an honorable gentleman. Like, you'll see Danny Dodson out on the town, whether it's at Walmart or at one of these local restaurants around here, and he's just friendly and nice, and you can tell he has a love for this city and a love for his school.
He loves the Hollywood Shopping Center.
I'm telling you. He should set up his own little shop out there and just sign autographs.
Even another cheese shop there is what we need. 22-15. Maybe you can open that up, Nate.
I'm telling you, maybe I'll go into business. I'll work on my business plan.
Heritage on the ground. You got to wonder what the strategy is for Massenburg here with less than 3 minutes left. They did pass the ball more than normal. And you see George Massenburg learn so much under Mike Smith.
I think the strategy, if I'm Coach Massenburg, Greg, I want to score, obviously, but I also want to eat up some of that clock.
He's made the postseason the last several years. Woodside's made it several times as well. Both schools in their 20th year.
That's crazy.
We've done this game several times over the years. Great players, great coaches over the years. For Woodside, you keep an eye, of course, on Tyler and Walker and Lee. They're the big three. Tyler, Walker, and Lee. Here's, of course, you look at the receivers, too. Watson. And then the running back right there, number 28, in the beautiful uniforms. Trevon Faison.
The freshman, 5'5", 145 pounds, Trevon Faison, did a good job of just picking up some positive yardage. And I think right now what you're going to see, Greg, they're going to keep it on the ground.
But the clock's a factor, too.
I think it's a tricky situation because you don't want to score too quickly because you don't want to give Woodside the chance with the ball back, but you also don't want to run out of time scoring yourself.
And you look at Dodson. His first 3 years, 99, 2000, 2001, they were 6-24. He's won over 100 games overall.
Yep, and that to me speaks to not only Coach Dodson but also Woodside, because there's a lot of places where he might not get a chance to come back for that 4th year with a record like that. But, Danny Dodson, there you see him talking to his players, a great coach, a great man, a great teacher of these young men out there on this football field. And Woodside gave him the time to grow, gave him the time to implement his system. And we've seen so many schools around here, Greg, that just every 2 or 3 years they're changing coaches. And that's not a way to build a program. That's not a way to build consistency like Woodside has.
2 minutes left to intermission. The throw out of bounds. Nice catch there by number 12. Philip Harley, no motorcycle there.
Philip Harley, the senior tight end, 6'1", 190 pounds. He's revving it up, Greg. He's getting that motor started. We'll see if Philip Harley is going to be implemented more into this passing game for the Heritage Hurricanes.
Heritage in trouble. And great defense by the Wolverines. Wolverines using that 4-4 defense to their advantage.
And that's another play, Greg, like we talked about earlier. Boyd has either got to throw that ball away or he's got to, just take off and tuck it and run, because the more he strings that play along, the more time runs off the clock, and also you're losing yardage by moving backwards. So Boyd's got to do a better job of getting rid of that ball and recognizing, reading and reacting when those plays come at him.
You got to give him the peace of mind, though, and the stature for going out of bounds and stopping the clock.
And that's something that, even NFL quarterbacks struggle with. Like right now, if you look at Tampa Bay and Jameis Winston and his development as a rookie quarterback, he's still learning some of those lessons. So it takes time. And, I think Boyd's a good quarterback, though.
He slipped right there, and that's extra slip.
Uh-oh.
Got him a few extra yards. But the thing is, too, back in the day, Marino, Elway, Jim Kelly had years to develop. These other quarterbacks like Winston are thrown to the fire.
Yep. One of my favorite examples is Steve McNair. He used to play for the Tennessee Titans. Steve McNair had to sit behind a quarterback for 3 or 4 seasons, and then when he finally got his chance, he was great.
It's like Google beating out Yahoo and MSN.
All right.
You never know how the sky's going to look.
I was blinded by the light.
You look at Woodside, over 100 wins.
Danny Dotson done a tremendous job
in their school history. That includes Schmidt, too.
I was going to say, wow. That's how you get to 100 wins right there, folks. Great job rushing the passer, bringing Boyd down in the backfield. Nice job by the Woodside Wolverines. That was number 53, Trayton Barker's barking up the wrong tree. Nice job sacking the quarterback. Let's take a look. Here you're going to see this defense, Greg, led by Trayton Barker. They're going to get great penetration, great driving right there.
Boyd just goes down.
There's nowhere to go.
You got 103 left. Let's set the table for you. We're at Todd Stadium in Newport News. It is Woodside 22, Heritage 15 in a game in which Heritage won last year 12-7 over Woodside. Both teams made the postseason. Tale of 2 seasons. Heritage 3-5, Woodside 5-3. As Nate and I have alluded to, you throw out the records. You're playing for pride. It's the end of the season. It's almost like you're in the fourth quarter of the season, the fourth quarter of the year, and you want to end the season on a good note.
Well, to be honest with you, Greg, this has almost the feel of a postseason game tonight. Right. Because it's so important for both teams. Heritage wants to stay alive. Woodside wants to continue improving. Right. And you got these rivals out here, so this is very much a playoff game while we're still in the regular season.
And these two teams have been the hallmarks of Newport News. They perennially made the postseason. They both made it last year. Both classy programs, organized football coaches. When you have organization at the top, it spreads to the assistant coaches, the players, and the entire alumni and student body.
Yeah, and it's ironic that the 2 youngest schools at Newport News have had the most success when it comes to football over the past 10 years.
Right.
Even 15 years going back to the state championship with Heritage.
Dotson's the only coach in Newport News that was a head coach in Newport News in the 20th century.
That is a great fact right there. That'll win you a trivia contest.
Greg Bick on Twitter. GREGBIC, and of course,
in the number 8 MOZAIK, Nate Mosaic on Twitter. Thanks for following, folks.
You can add us on Facebook, too. Here's the run.
Speaking of Facebook,
catching Woodside off guard. In the end zone.
Wow.
Number 5. Roy Johnson. Flags all over the place, though. Hold it. Penalty on Heritage.
Oh, wow. That's a backbreaker. Let's take a look at the run anyway, though, folks. Here we see if we can pick up the flags.
He was chugging and moving along. Very
Roy
good.
Johnson, the 3rd. Looking like Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot. Check this out.
He's telling him, Pacquiao, not quite yet.
Man, I'm telling you, 5'10", 182 pounds. That was a good run. Unfortunately, it's not going to count.
And you just really hope these referees and officials are right, because he really, really just struggled to get there, but he got there.
The effort that he put into
he
that
was
run.
maneuvering.
Yes.
So much effort goes into that.
That's a backbreaker right there for the Hurricanes.
George Massenberg saying, really, he knows his postseason's on the line.
George Massenberg.
If they lose, it'll be very difficult.
He's looking like Chris Carter on Sunday nights. Come on, man.
And there he is, the man of the hour, Bill Dozier.
Wow.
He didn't change his mind. We called it first. Remember, we're the only people that can see the replay. The coaches, players, there's no replay like the NFL in college. Right. We see it up here, courtesy of Ray Price and company. We see the replay first. So sometimes even though they might miss it by the naked eye, we see it on the audio-video replay.
Now the question for the Heritage Hurricanes, Greg, they got to forget that last play. They got to get it out of their minds and come back and focus.
What do? You got 58 seconds. You keep it in the air, you go on the ground.
I think you got to keep it in the air. I think you got to go to the air on this one.
They're on the 44-yard line. They're just trying to get to the red zone. Similar play, catching Woodside off guard. And right there, again, Roy Johnson exploiting the 4-4 defense of Woodside.
Wow. That's why Coach Massenberg's the head coach here, and I'm not, because I would have gone for the pass. He went back to the same play.
That's what Hayes at Ohio State used to do all the time.
Kept it on the ground. And I got to give credit to Roy Johnson. Roy Johnson didn't get his head down. He kept his head in the game. Good run right there by Heritage. Roy Johnson is slipping away, very elusive. These Woodside tacklers aren't able to bring him down.
Still some time left. Timeout, Wolverines, and right now Dotson's team needs to reset, because regardless of that play that didn't count by Heritage earlier, they did it again.
Yep, and they might have found a weakness here in the Woodside defense, a chink in the armor, if you will, because they've been pretty good in bottling up this Heritage offense, but we saw on 2 consecutive plays a nice run by Roy Johnson the third, and there you see Coach Massenberg having a nice conversation with our officials, trying to get his point across. Great coach out there. This team, this is a very important drive, though, Greg, because they've got to at least put 3 points on the board on this drive. They can't come away empty-handed.
Let's take a look at it. Great graphic there.
There you see, again, for the second time, Roy Johnson III does a great job following that convoy, following the blockers in front of him.
He's making Roy Johnson the first and second very happy.
He said, I might be the third Roy Johnson, but I'm the best right now. No offense to the first and the second, but the third might be the best one yet.
I'm sure the first and second are saying, not so fast.
Right, not so fast, my friend. But, man, a great job by Roy Johnson. Roy Johnson, a junior, so he's one of these leaders that'll have a chance to come back next year.
Both these teams, Heritage and Woodside scoring a lot, giving up a lot of points this year, both. So, really, you talk about their offense and defense pretty much the same. It's indicative, too. Double figures for both on offense and defense on the average. We mentioned the couple of shutouts. Where Woodside shut out Warwick 42-0, and Lake Taylor, first game of the year, shut out Heritage 54-0. Of course, we had 2 shutouts during our airwaves, so it's been no shutout tonight, though. 22-15. There he is again, folks.
Got him.
The third makes it. Number 5. Roy Johnson III telling Nate he's the best tonight.
Great drive by the Heritage Hurricanes. Way to close out the first half of play. Roy Johnson Jr., coming into the game, we were all looking for big things from Trayshawn Shackelford. But let's take a look at this replay, folks. 3 consecutive plays up the middle. Nice handoff. And there you see Roy Johnson III say, hold on, thought I told you that we won't stop. Thought I told you that we won't stop. Another score for the Heritage Hurricanes. And this is a ball game, Greg.
He's just a junior, too.
Wow.
And this is what we talked about, the big extra points. And the special teams kick us up. And it's good. Usually good teams have good kickers. It is now 22-all.
Greg, you're very familiar with the Redskins and the trials and tribulations of RG3. I think tonight we might have seen the beginning of RJ3, Roy Jones III, coming out here. Roy Johnson III making big things happen. He made me think of Roy Jones because he's out there fighting. He's got that fighter's heart.
22-all. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us here at Todd Stadium's second quarter coming to a close soon. 34 seconds left. Don't forget to enjoy the halftime festivities. Hope you enjoy all our games this year. Heritage and Menchville, Warwick and Denby, Warwick and Woodside, and of course tonight.
And tonight, Greg, here's the question. If you're Coach Danny Dotson, do you just kind of run the ball into the half, or do you want to go for, you got 22 seconds up there, you want to go for a score?
Yeah, I would use Tamir Walker and get him to get it deep into the do something.
They've got some weapons. We've seen Jakari Lee get down there on the field tonight.
Heritage High School band, Nate, almost more of them than the fans tonight.
I'm telling you, we've got two bands tonight, Greg. Two bands for the price of one. Heritage up there, and we got Woodside right below us here on the other side.
Like, this is our Super Bowl of the year, folks. We don't get this that much in Newport News.
This is the Super Bowl, the Rose Bowl.
We've done a lot of playoff games. We have. But two Newport News teams, although the records aren't great, the atmosphere of a playoff game, even though they, it's not a playoff game.
Even
it feels like a
playoff games, sometimes we don't get that full band experience.
And not even in the playoff games.
Yeah.
There's been games where we've seen no bands.
Yep. And I think you gotta have bands at the college and high school games. It just adds so much to it. The atmosphere we always talk about.
They've had Battle of the Bands over the years, right?
Yes. Some great Battle of the Bands. I remember there's been some years when Menchville and Heritage and Hampton and some of the Norfolk schools just go out there and see who's got the best showmanship.
Phoebus had a good band.
Phoebus, yep.
Hampton University, of course.
So
Norfolk State.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bay is always a great game, but you go for Hampton versus Norfolk State, but you stay for the band.
UVA had a pep band for a long time. There he is. Yep. Number 23, the one and only Tamir Walker.
And Tamir Walker, you like you said, Greg, he can pick up a lot of yardage in a short amount of time.
If he just gets that burst, and whether it's down the sideline or up the middle, he can be a threat.
Yep.
He just hasn't gotten that big hole yet to penetrate.
I think you got to credit Heritage. Heritage has done a good job of kind of bottling up Walker tonight.
Again, 22-all, 28 seconds left. Woodside with the ball, going left to right on the TV dial in the aqua black and white uniforms. Heritage in the maroon and white. Woodside trying to make the postseason again. Heritage is trying to get to at least win the next two games and go 500 and let it take care of itself. Way overthrown, incomplete. Now, what you don't want is a turnover for a touchdown.
No, that was an overthrow.
If you go to the halftime at 22-all, so be it.
Yeah.
The way it's gone, it's been anybody's ball game.
You don't want to make a mistake and give Heritage an opportunity.
And what you see, too, is both teams kind of let their guard down. The other team has scored.
Yep.
So it's not, you get that confidence up a little bit. Heritage scored early. Woodside came right back.
And it's kind of like that analogy, that prize fight. Sometimes the fight doesn't start until both guys get hit in the mouth. And now both teams have kind of been hit, and it's a wake-up call. This isn't a game. This isn't practice. This is the real deal.
Just ask Des Bryant that.
Ask Allen Iverson. This isn't practice. We talking practice, man. This is the game.
Oh, one-arm tackle.
Wow.
Flags all over the place. One-arm clothesline. Some of your wrestling analogies on your podcast there.
Tyler
oh, my goodness.
He just got hit by Ric Flair, bro. Greg the Hammer Valentine out there.
You still see the clothesline in wrestling like you used to. The clothesline, folks. This is a wrestling move here. You don't see it that out there. That clothesline. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And who was it? The quarterback, too. Jeremiah Boyd.
The Jeremiah Boyd right there saying, to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Back in the day, you saw, Gene Ole Anderson and, Ricky
Dusty
Steamboat,
Rhodes.
Johnny and Greg Valentine using the clothesline. Do you still see it as much in wrestling?
You see it every now and then, but it's not like it used to be.
That was it right there, folks. You haven't seen it. That was the clothesline right there. On the outlet stretch, going out of bounds, Smart. But only 1 second left.
Yeah.
22-all.
Trying to make something big happen with that screen, but Heritage sniffed it out. 1 second. I think if you're Coach Dodson, just go ahead and take a knee.
And really, when you think about the clothesline, I guess it wasn't that bad because, there's still this. They're on the 48. They're going to need a bomb just to score here.
Yeah.
Hail Mary or something, trick play. And a couple laterals, maybe. What do you do?
I was going to say, if anybody has a trick play in their bag, it's Danny Dodson.
Statue of Liberty, maybe?
Statue of Liberty. The fumble Rooski, maybe.
1 second left to intermission, folks. We're tied. We got a great ball game. 22-all. Save the date for this game on TV on Wednesdays and Fridays at 7. Tyler is trying to direct somebody. Incomplete. That's intermission. We are tied up with the score. Heritage 22, Woodside 22. We are at halftime. We've got 24 minutes of exciting football. Don't go nowhere. We'll come back and introduce the bands after these messages.
The Telecommunications Center is an award-winning television production facility for high school students and the Newport News Public Schools. Students can learn studio, remote production, audio operation, editing, directing, and much more. Students can also earn college credit through dual enrollment. The center has graduates working for MTV, ESPN, CNN, Entertainment Tonight, and Tyler Perry Studios. If you want to jumpstart your career in broadcasting, contact your guidance counselor or call 591-4687.
Hi, my name is Barbara Smith, and I'm with the Newport News Public Schools Department of Transportation. At the bus stop, students should stand away from the road in an orderly fashion and always be mindful of other people's property. While on the school bus, students should always behave, keeping their hands, heads, and any other objects inside the bus so as not to distract the driver from keeping their eyes on the road. Motorists must stop for a school bus and remain stopped until the bus's lights are off and begins to move again. Here at Transportation, our number one objective is the safety of the children.
And I'm here with Bruce Rader, Wavy TV 10 Sports Director. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing great, Hannah. How are you? I'm so happy to be back in Newport News for my annual trip on Chopper 10 for Friday night flights.
That's great. So how long have you been in this field?
Well, let's see. I will be starting my 39th year just at Wavy TV coming up in December. So I've been coming here to Newport News for almost 4 decades, covering all the great sports here and the high school football teams. And there's the Woodside High School marching band playing behind us, serenading us. I'll tell you, it doesn't get any better than this, does it?
39 years. So what does it take to be in this field?
It takes being old like I am, and it takes having, you know what, you got to love your job. And what a better job than I have to cover sports all the time, cover all the great, wonderful athletes and bands and cheerleading squads and that have come through Hampton Roads over the years. You know, I just really love my job. I love the Hampton Roads area, both on the south side and the peninsula and Williamsburg and Grafton and down in the Outer Banks, and I just love it.
So what does it take for a high school student just like me to be where you are today?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a very tough competitive business out there, but what I would suggest is you work hard in high school and then go on to college and perhaps take media or take broadcasting or take journalism. Work hard. Try to get yourself an internship while you're in college. They don't normally give internships to kids that are in high school, but once you get into college, take an opportunity maybe during the summer to work at a local television station, and then just get a resume tape and start applying for jobs just like you would any other job.
Thanks for those awesome tips. So what is it that keeps you here? What's the drive here?
Well, I think it's more than anything else, I love the area. I really, really do. I love Hampton Roads. I live in Virginia Beach. I live 2 blocks away from the ocean. I can go to the beach. I can go up to Wintergreen and go skiing. It's not too far away from Washington, D.C. I can go down to the Outer Banks. And, you know, this is just such a wonderful place to live. It's growing. The shipyard's doing well. And there's plenty of jobs out there for people that want to work hard and get a good education. And that's what keeps me here. I love giving back to the community. I love working on charities and things like that. So it's just a great place.
Well, we loved having you today. Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right, and I love being in Newport News, and join me tonight and every Friday night at 11:15 on Wavy TV 10 for Friday Night Flights.
All right, back at halftime, it's 22-all. What a great ball game so far. 4th game of the year, respectively, on Cox Cable 47, 517, and NMPSTV.com. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, the entire crew with you. It's 22-all. Please, folks, I totally invite you to enjoy some of the best bands in the state of Virginia. Enjoy.
started to come at 75 too. Early morning I started to come. But I woke up like 6 o'clock, I started to come. I'm gonna watch Luka Browns.
Get an episode.
I don't watch TV much. I don't even know how the hell we play for cable. My girl don't be home. She get out, she go to my house. And hell, I'm always at work. I ain't picture my life like this, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. I did not picture my life like this. I thought it was going to be a fight last night. I asked Miss Brown about it, but some students was running. She ain't tell me. The leader was running over there by some dude. But they ain't do nothing to me.
I agree. Hey, that's my old
Drum major, is your band ready? Halftime entertainment, the 2015 Woodside High School Marching Wolverines.
You don't have to change just to fit in. You don't have to apologize for who you are. Just be yourself, and I promise people will enjoy it. Just be yourself. Be your real, imperfect, flawed, quirky, weird, beautiful, and magical person you are. Be yourself. Because everyone else is already taken. Just be you.
All right, back right here at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Greg Bickavaris along with Nate Milton. It's halftime, and of course, starting the third quarter momentarily. It's 22-all. You see the band right there. And the bands are always excellent.
Yeah, this is a great job by the Heritage Band. It's always good when we have, dueling bands, a battle of the bands, if you will. The Woodside Band's been playing all game long. Heritage got their chance to shine at halftime, so a great job with the festivities here by both bands.
All right, what are you looking for in the second half first for Heritage?
Second half, Greg, what I'm looking for Heritage, I want to see a sense of urgency. They've done a great job keeping the game even as we head to halftime, but I want to see them come out and start strong from the beginning. Now, from Woodside, what I want to see from Woodside is I want to see them stay calm. I don't want to see them panic because, if you're going to be a team that's going to excel in the postseason, you're going to have to get ready for teams to come back at you like this. And the mark of a good squad is, okay, you came back on us. We're not going to panic. We're going to continue to play our game and move forward. And that's what I want to see.
Yeah, both teams' seasons on the line tonight. For Woodside, if they lose, they got a winning record still, but that's no momentum to make an outside shot at the postseason. If Heritage loses, they've already got a losing record for sure.
Yeah, if Woodside loses, they've still got an outside shot, but you don't want to leave it up to chance. You want to hold your destiny in your hand.
Heritage can still at least go 500.
Yeah, and for Heritage, they want to come out here and finish what they started. They started this season talking about we're going to get back to the playoffs. We're going to improve on that 11-2 record from last season. They didn't get there, but they can still go out there, Greg, and finish out these last 2 weeks with some pride, with some intensity, and make some things happen.
Okay. All right, we got DeAndre up here surprising us like always. We'll call him Houdini. What's up, DeAndre? You're like the random relative that comes during the holidays we never see throughout the year.
I think we talking Thanksgiving, so it's good that DeAndre came up here. How you doing, DeAndre?
I'm doing good.
All right, of course, it's 22-all. We got to stay focused here. And, of course, both teams, when you look at them, you see Dotson right there. He's all business. I mean, they just cannot afford to be status quo. You want to get above and beyond the status quo.
No, well, one of the problems that we've seen Woodside have during the season is closing out games, Greg, and finishing off opponents. And this is a perfect example of that right now. They've got an opportunity to come out here in the second half, make a statement, and really put this game away and look forward to the postseason. So I want to see what Coach Dotson said to those boys at halftime to get them motivated to come out and play.
Dotson's made the postseason. Woodside gotten over 100 wins in their program. 2 coaches in 20 years, and that's one of them right there. Replaced Bob Schmidt to start the 99 season. Of course, Schmidt coached at Denby and Woodside both. While Heritage just had a whole group of coaches. Of course, their most successful one, John Quillen, who led them to the state championship 15 years ago. With great players like Michael Johnson back then and Darrell Blackstock.
That's just hard to believe, Greg. It's been 15 years since that state championship.
Heritage got some excellent uniforms. And, of course, George Massenberg, the coach of the Hurricanes, learned so much under Mike Smith-Hampton. And, of course, about ready to start here the third quarter. 22-all, 12-minute quarters. High school football right here on NNPS TV, Cox Cable 47 517, NNPSTV.com. Hampton Road Spell Sports, NNPSTV.com. Swivel kick, Heritage gets it. They cross the 30, but that's about it. Both teams need to stay focused. You have limited chances to touch the football. Every possession counts. Third down conversions are going to be big in the second half.
Yeah, third down conversion, and also special teams like we just saw in that kick, Greg, with Heritage giving Woodside a little taste of their own medicine with the squib kick. And we're going to see. It's all about how you come out and set the tempo, how you set the tone. This first drive is going to be very important to see who can come out and establish that will, impose their will on the other team.
Early. Nate will give us the scoring recap after this play. 22-all, just starting the third quarter. Heritage going right to left. Look at the bread and butter man was Roy Johnson III. Keep on giving it to him. He's got the hot hand right now.
Right. We thought it was going to be Trayshawn Shackelford, but Roy Johnson III has stepped up big. Let's go to that scoring recap, Greg. In the first quarter, started off Heritage with a pass from Jeremiah Boyd to Amanye Watson. First points on the board. Woodside responded. Tyre Tyler with a pass to Deontay Chesson. They scored a 2-point conversion, and then they followed that up after a onside kick recovery. Dimitri Banks with a touchdown run. 15-7 was your score at the end of the first quarter. I'll pick it up after this snap.
Like Nate said, it's all about Will right here in the second half. Pass did not work, so he went for the run. There's nobody open to throw to.
No, and Boyd
Continue, Nate.
Boyd did a good job on that run. And speaking of Boyd, he started off the second quarter with another pass to Amanye Watson. It was 15-all. And then Tyre Tyler for Woodside with a pass to Kendall Bell. Ring my bell, 22-15. And finally, we saw a great run by Heritage and Roy Johnson III. Y'all must have forgot. 22-22 was your score at the half, all knotted up. And that is where we bring things off here in the second half, Greg. Heritage and Woodside tied up at 22.
Woodside coming off a tough loss to Phoebus. Heritage beating Kickingham. Doesn't matter now. It's number one. You got a lot on the line here tonight. Possibility of at least to go 500 for Heritage if they can win this week and next week. For Woodside, outside shot of making the postseason on the road. City rivalry. 20-year rivalry between these two schools. Two most successful schools in Newport News as far as the postseason. Both teams have made it several times. Two excellent coaches, two organized schools, great academics, athletics activities. Two of the furthest schools away from each other. Woodside's closer to Yorktown and Williamsburg than they are most Newport News schools, next to Denby. Rivalry game, rivalry week, 22-all. Let's do the top three rivalries, starting off number 3.
Number 3, this is a close one, Greg, because Woodside and then Heritage, that's a good rivalry. It has the potential to be a great rivalry, but to me it doesn't make my top 3. So for me, Greg, I think number 3, I might have to go with Menchville and Warwick at number 3.
Number 2.
Number 2, again, you got some of the classic schools, the Denbys, the Menchvilles, the Warwicks. Those are the schools I look to more so than a Heritage or a Woodside. But I think that a rivalry that's up and coming, Greg, Denby and Woodside, that to me is a rivalry that has gotten really intense.
B2 has elevated that rivalry.
Yes.
And number 1.
Number 1, hey, call me sentimental, call me an old-fashioned homer, but Menchville and Denby to me is still the best rivalry in Newport News. Regardless of the records, you can tell it by the passion of the fans. You can tell it on Facebook or on Twitter. Whenever Menchville and Denby play, there's going to be some trash talking. There's going to be a rivalry. So Menchville and Denby to me is the number 1 rivalry.
I like Warwick and Menchville just because they're two oldest schools in Newport News. But this game out here, the 20-year war is what it is. Two newest schools are right up there in the top 5 at least.
Yeah, it's definitely in the top 5. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say top 3, but it's getting there. If both teams can continue to make the postseason and continue to have this type of success, they'll get there.
Who will seize the opportunity? Good run up the middle right there by number 2, the quarterback, Tyre Taylor.
10-yard gain on the play, first down for Wolverines at the Hurricane 25.
DeAndre is going to camera 1, Nate Milton.
That is the versatility that the students here and the crew possess. DeAndre not only can get on the mic, but he can get on the camera. So a shout out to DeAndre Foscue for pitching in whenever he is needed.
Every opportunity you have for the ball right now, you've got to either score or stop the defense. You can feel the pressure mounting. Well, so many different things are on the line. Like we said, for Heritage, they want to win so they can possibly get a 500 record. And Woodside wants to have an outside chance of going to the south side.
It's something about the fall, Greg. Like we talked about the World Series series earlier, Autumn brings out the consistency.
No backhand catches.
Brings out the rivalry, brings out the intensity, and it's the same out here on the football field. They've got to make each play. They got to go to the fundamentals, make some big plays, and as we're seeing right there,
flags all over the place.
You can't afford penalties in a situation like this.
Right. Number 3 right there with the catch, Corey Lee. Like I said, flags all over the place. Nate's going to give us a report card for all 5 schools. This is not the Nate Milton report card. This is the overall grade for the year for the 5 schools in just a moment. Penalty. One Heritage. So we'll do that after this red zone opportunity here for us. Again, another opportunity to score.
Yeah, and that is not what you want to see if you're a fan of the Heritage Hurricanes. They can't afford a mistake like that, a personal foul penalty, and you've got to take advantage of it, though, if you're Woodside. Opportunities like this, they don't come often, Greg, so when it knocks, you got to answer the door.
22 all. 7:52 left in the third quarter. Woodside in the black, aqua, and white. Heritage in the white uniforms. Woodside and Heritage, great rivalry over the years. Outside run, 6 points, walking it in. Making it look simple. Number 23, Tamir Walker, woke up there.
They bottled him up all game long, but finally he was able to come out and show why we talked. Take
that chip off the shoulder there.
Love it when you see a little bit of the dancing between the little guys and the big guys. That was Shane Westfall with a little dance for him. And there you see, right to the outside, Tamir Walker. We mentioned him earlier on in the game, but Tamir Walker finally looked like, Greg, nobody even touched him on that run.
They're all watching him run on the outside.
I think you and I could have made that
hustle
run.
more. You got to hustle more in the third quarter, the fourth quarter.
You and I could have scored that touchdown, and we are way past our eligibility.
And the extra point is up, and it's good, so it's 7-point lead. Now, here's what Heritage doesn't want. Oh, we got a losing record. We're not going to go anywhere. Let's just tank it. You can't. You come this far this game. At least this one game you're playing together. Don't tank the third and fourth quarter.
That's a very important question, Greg, because
that play looked like they tanked it.
Now do the doubts start to creep in?
Right.
Now does those losing ways start to creep in?
Earlier games, they lost to Gloucester, starts coming in.
So, this is a gut check moment. There you see Coach Dotson. This is a gut check moment on the other side for Coach Massenberg. And there you see the Woodside coaches, because when you have
that ain't
question,
Dotson, folks.
Right here, folks, when you have a question that your back is to the wall, are you going to step up? Are you going to respond? And 29-22, Heritage has their backs to the wall now.
See, they came out of the locker room, Woodside focused and got that first 7. Now, the problem with Woodside is they're letting Heritage back in every time. You see that Heritage kind of is down, make them down and out.
There you go.
Use the play on offense and make them down and out.
Will Heritage be able to respond, or will Woodside have that killer instinct and go for the jugular?
The battery's full right now for Woodside. Heritage, it's 50%.
Who's got the charger?
I do.
Who's charged up?
I'm not going to forget my charger this time. Heritage going backwards there. They just went backwards. Good special teams right there by the Wolverines. We're in the third quarter. We're at Todd Stadium in Newport News. Greg Bickaveris, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Nate, let's do the report card for the overall teams. And, of course, Rising Juniors, if you're interested in TV production, call Telecom to schedule a tour, 591-4687, extension 0, earn college credit. Nate, report card for Menchville.
Well, Greg, Menchville has had not the easiest season. They've had some ups and they've had some downs.
There's no minuses, Nate.
No, but I will say for Menchville, you got to give them credit, because I do think Coach Savage brings to them a different attitude. I think that considering what he had to come into, which is a program that has had 3 coaches in 5 years.
Flags down, continue.
3 coaches in 5 years, like that is not an easy situation for any coach. So I think Ray Savage has an opportunity to get better with that program. But as for right now with Menchville, we're going to go ahead and get a Monarchs an F.
Yeah, you call it like it is. They have not won a game.
No.
All right, let's go next to Warwick.
For Warwick, the Raiders are very interesting because, man, you talk about, again, another program that's had coaching changes, Greg. We'll pick it up here after this play.
Right. 1st and 15 for Heritage. They cannot afford to have too many setbacks here in the second half. Nothing there either. for whatever reason, Heritage energy level is flat right now.
Yeah, you can tell that the energy is kind of transferred. Now Woodside is feeding off of that energy.
Remember, folks, we're doing the game report card in the fourth quarter. This is the overall 5 Newport News schools we've seen on our airwaves.
Yes, this is kind of like the end of the year evaluations. And for Warwick,
you're evaluating us tonight.
For Warwick,
and when we were in high school, you'd give us A, B, C, D, and F, maybe. Nate?
There you go.
I got all the grades.
Everywhere I had to experience all of them, so that way I could know.
How about an incomplete or a 0?
I've had a couple incompletes in college, but the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, we both finished high school and college. This third quarter is ticking away too, folks. All right, Boyd throws it deep. Nice spiral. Good catch.
Nice connection.
Number 4, Timothy, he was the pain.
The house of pain, Timothy Payne, 5'11" sophomore, doing a great job. Let's take a look. There you see, Greg.
Plenty of time to throw the ball, not much pressure.
Good protection, and Boyd can throw the football. And there you see, gets it to where only Payne can catch it.
The thing is, he threw it on the outside of near the sideline. Not a whole lot of real estate there for the receiver. He still made a good catch.
Yeah.
How about great for Warwick?
For Warwick, I think I'm going to give Warwick a D, Greg.
They won a couple games.
They won a couple games, and they've got room to improve.
They got to do better than that.
They got to do better, though.
We'll get to Denby.
I do love Warwick's coach, though. I think he's got a great attitude.
29-22 Woodside. Heritage going right to left in the white uniforms, trailing by 7. 1st and 10 at the 38 of the Wolverines, going right to left in the white uniforms. Not much there for Heritage. Good stop there by number 23. And, of course, I've been critical all year of going both ways. Tamir Walker making the stop. But anyway, let's get a report card for Denby, then middle of the road.
Yeah, Denby's middle of the road. Denby to me is kind of the epitome of a C team.
Yep.
Denby is a team that they can beat some of the lower teams, but they're not going to beat the better teams. And I like Coach Harris. I like that offense, but Denby's got to keep improving.
All right, Heritage, we're seeing a 3-5 team tonight.
We're seeing a 3-5 team.
And usually those teams are they're too high and too low.
Yeah.
No consistency. But we'll get that report for Heritage in just a moment. Not for the game, just for the year. And the quarterback sneak doesn't fool nobody. Right there.
That was an ugly play.
Jeremiah Boyd nowhere. For Heritage, overall grade for the year.
For Heritage overall, Greg, it's been a disappointment because they came in with high expectations. So I think that's where you've got to make the delineation. Like if this were Gloucester or Minchfield that won 3 games, that's a great season by Minchfield or Gloucester standards.
Heritage last year.
But because last year Heritage was 11-2 and they've only won 3 games up to this point, it's a disappointing season. So, I want to give them a low C, but since we don't do the pluses and minuses, I'm going to give them a D, but it's kind of a provisional D because any other school other than Woodside would love to have the season Heritage has had. They've got some good players.
Except for Denby, of course. They want to do better.
Yeah, I think Minchfield would love to be Heritage right now. They've got some good players like we're seeing Boyd right here. They just haven't put it all together.
And nice catch right there by number, looks like 12 for the Hurricanes. That's Philip Harley.
Philip Harley getting the motor revved. So that's a D for Heritage.
But they could still possibly get a C for this game. But right now they're not playing C level this game either.
Right. And again, the D is because of the expectations they had coming into the season.
Right. How about for Woodside?
Finally, for Woodside. Woodside is kind of always a B student to me, Greg.
Yeah.
Woodside the perennial B student.
But like you said, they need to get married now.
Right. Woodside is always the B student, but it's like, hey, I'd like to see an A every now and then. But Woodside has had a solid season. There you see Coach Massenberg for the Hurricanes. Woodside is a team to me, Greg, that
he's working the refs like Jim Boeheim does in basketball.
Yeah. I feel sometimes, though, Greg, Woodside plays to the level of their competition.
Yeah,
and so, I would love to see a more consistent, complete game from the Woodside Wolverines, but I think they're a team that has potential in the postseason, so they get a B from me for the season.
George Massenberg right now, his team trailing by 7 with 4:38 in the third quarter.
It's kind of funny. We went up the list. F, D, C, back to D, and then finally with a B.
Not many teams get an A. I think Hampton gets an A overall.
Hampton might be the only team who gets an A.
But we're going to see how they do in the postseason first.
Now, I'm a very hard judge. I don't give away easy grades.
George Massenberg's team, if he loses this, they're going to have a losing record. That's what's really going to hurt after, regardless of what they do next week.
Right, and I think, at this point, they've got to remain focused on this game and the next game, because it's basically, that's all you have to play for. You can worry about next season when the season's over.
Yeah, you can worry about that in November, December, January.
Yeah.
But right now, you're talking 4:38 left in the third quarter. Only got one more quarter after this. You're down 29-22. You get the first down. You've really got to match every score here because of the time.
Well, like you said, Greg, they've come out flat here in the second half. And even though they've looked flat, they've looked sluggish, they're still only down by a touchdown. So this game is still within reach. They just got to come out here and
it's
start
like both teams are matching
together.
the energy level of each other. Not really playing better than the other one, just matching the energy level.
And that's what goes back to Woodside. When I say they kind of play to the level of their competition, they rise or fall compared to the energy output of their opponent.
Yep. There's the guy with the hot hand right there to the 20. Number 5, respectively, Roy Johnson III.
RJ.
Yeah, we want to know where Roy Johnson the first and second are.
I'm sure they're watching this game right now on Cox 47, Verizon Fios 17, and of course NNPSTV.com. I got so confused.
The fans right there.
NNPSTV.com, folks. And of course, we broadcast over a dozen sports. We've been showcasing them over the years on NNPS TV. Sports Highlights Archive is also available on NNPSTV.com. And again, that is NNPSTV.com.
Glad you know who's paying you, Nate.
I gotta make sure those checks clear.
Sam Price with security up here tonight.
Greg, like the old saying goes, I love this job so much I do it for free, but I'm glad I don't have to.
Sports Highlights, program we won several communicator awards since February of 92. Monday at 7, 2, and 7. Weekends at 9 a.m. Cox Cable 47, 517. And of course, people coming by the truck saying how much they enjoy our programming. No matter where we go, whatever I've done in radio and TV, and that includes anything, local, regional, network, anything, more people say they see sports highlights in our games than anything else. We set a record when we did live games as far as text during the game, from interaction from our fans, how much they enjoy our stuff. And of course, they can interact now with us on Twitter.
Yep, the wave of the future, social media is here. You can interact with all of your favorite athletes and broadcasters and politicians and musicians and even your favorite announcers with Greg and myself up here in the booth. There you see, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, and of course, at N8 MOZ.
And we want the fans to interact, be proactive. You see that we're putting it up there so you can interact. Correct.
Yep, reach out and
it's
tell us.
It's still new to a lot of people, Nate.
Tell us what you think of the show. Tell us what you think of the games.
They do. Trust me. And, of course, our telecom network, Carl Daniels and the students doing a great job with that. Of course, we tweet the games out. We'll get to the crew list here in the fourth quarter. Hey, we got a time right now. Thanksgiving month, November. Top 3 Thanksgiving dishes, starting off with number 3.
Okay, Greg. Top 3 Thanksgiving dishes. I'm going to start off with turkey, but not just any turkey, Greg.
Is turkey going to be 3?
I need the fried turkey.
Yes.
Give me the fried turkey at number 3.
The deep fryer turkey.
Oh, it makes the best sandwiches, too, the next day.
Amazing how every restaurant's packed the day after Thanksgiving. Nothing. Fumble. We talked about Heritage losing focus. They can't afford to lose focus now. And right there beside himself, Jeremiah Boyd. This will be a learning life is a learning experience.
Yep.
And this has been a learning experience for Heritage all year long.
Not where you start, is how you finish. And so right now we're seeing Heritage having a rough season, but they're going to get better, Greg.
So number 3, you would say
number 3 is the fried turkey. So I've got some big ones coming up next.
Number 2,
I love candied yams, but I like them with the mashed potatoes. Not the mashed potatoes.
Why not?
I like them with the marshmallows melted on top.
I got you.
And some pecans sprinkled on them. Give me the candied yam with the marshmallows and the pecans.
We'll get Nate's number 1 Thanksgiving treat in just a second. 3:12 left. Old address as a kid actually was 3:12. Nowhere there.
Wow.
They heard us talking about Roy Johnson the first and second. They just shut out Roy Johnson the third.
Woo, Roy Johnson going nowhere fast on that one. RJ3.
Number 1, Nate.
Number 1 on my list of Thanksgiving foods, Greg. Stuffing with the cranberries. And don't give me the cranberry sauce in the can. Give me the real deal Holyfield cranberries. Oh, man, I love stuffing and cranberry sauce. So that, to me, is my favorite thing on Thanksgiving.
That sounds good.
I'll go back and get 2 or 3 helpings of that.
They're just trying to get a helping of scoring here late in the third quarter, down by 7. 29-22. Hurricanes with the ball. Won the state championship back in 2000 under John Quillen, the former Denby coach as well. Incomplete.
Now, Greg, for you, my friend, what are your top 3 Thanksgiving dishes?
I would say stuffing. But I'm probably going to say ham would be number 3.
Okay.
Turkey number 2.
Okay.
Grilled, smoked, however you want to do it. Like you said, the more fried, the better. And of course, number 1's got to be stuffing.
I think we
lots of stuffing.
There's just something about stuffing.
You got to have turkey, ham, and stuffing. That's got to be it. And of course, the yams are good.
The yams and green bean casserole.
No respect during the off season.
Greg, that's why I work so hard during the year to keep this weight where it is, so I can enjoy myself at Thanksgiving.
And don't forget Nate's real report card coming up in the fourth quarter. Well, I'm glad he wasn't my teacher.
It's just something about Thanksgiving Day. You wake up and you smell the food and football's on TV.
Lately it's been on Sunday mornings early, too.
Football, that's when they need to put the London games on Thanksgiving.
On the morning, yeah.
Yep.
Do 4 games that day.
9:30 in the morning, yep. There's something about football and Thanksgiving. It might be I might even like that more than Christmas.
We played 2 hours here at Newport News. See the cheerleaders there. Our showcase game here from Todd Stadium, Cox Cable 47, 517. And what do you think about all the recruiting services now? Is it too much pressure on these kids?
I've always thought it was too much pressure.
How do they really know?
Yeah,
they really don't know.
I think, Greg, that one of my issues is that the recruiting services and things like that, it's big business. And I think that, man, there's something about these kids.
Well, here's my thing, how they don't know. Look at Pierre Gerson. Was he a Division I player?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Best receiver the Redskins have had in years.
If you're a good scout, you're going to find the talent.
Here it's right there in the air. Trying to save face here for the season. Woodside, that's the problem about the C or the B, whatever you want to give them overall for this game. They played to the level of their competition.
Yeah, well, I think here we're going to see on this replay again, Boyd to Amanye Watson.
I mean, that was not a good defensive play by number 43, Dominique Sumter.
And I think
he tried, but not tried enough.
I think what you've seen, Greg, is whenever Heritage scores, right then you'll see Woodside come back with a lot of aggression, and they'll score.
It's almost like having a best friend and said, well, I got an A, I'm going to get an A+.
Right. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Right. And Heritage just does it right there. Who else? Roy Johnson III.
RJ3.
I think right now he's the best Roy Johnson in the family. I think the first and second can't.
Yeah, I think the first and second would agree that the third is maybe the best one.
Up the middle.
You see, busting through the line. So pretty. Hold on. He got to kiss himself. Right there, Roy Johnson.
Of course, you still got to make that extra point.
Roy Johnson, he has been a pleasant surprise. We came into the game talking about Trayshawn Shackelford, and for the most part, Shaq's been bottled up, but Roy Johnson, the third, has picked up the slack. He's picked up the slack for Shaq.
And we were talking, he was behind first and second. He's now the top.
He's the top man.
He's the top Johnson.
He's the top Johnson. RJ3.
And the extra point is up. And it's perfect.
He gets the big piece of turkey at Thanksgiving.
Both teams have earned mashed potatoes this year. 29 all. Elijah and Michelle in the truck. We saw them both at the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition. Hope everybody had a good time at that. I've never been pulled so much in my life in one night. We had a lot of fun, though.
I tell you, is Greg Vicaveris at the Greek Fest? Are you like RG3 at the Redskins Fan Fest? Does everybody want their pictures taken with you?
Seemed like it that night, at least. The band right there enjoying themselves.
Like, you want good baklava, you got to talk to Vicaveris. He's the man.
I'm not a big baklava fan. That's the thing. I like. People talk about what's your favorite dessert. I like the honey puffs, the Lucumadas. We can talk about our top 3 desserts in the fourth quarter. Oh, that's a good one there.
I think that's.
Remember, we had a lot of response from the candy.
Yeah.
People watching our games, they love our games.
Crazy thing is, Thanksgiving's really like the holidays. That's really the only time I eat a whole lot of sweets and cakes.
We get a lot of feedback from people that are in hotels that are visiting Newport News and are watching our games on Wednesday and Friday night. So we'll say hello to all the hotel viewers.
Yeah, everybody out there on
Make
business,
sure you
traveling, checking us out on Cox 47, Verizon Fios 17, and of course, NNPSTV.com from Boston to Boise, Fargo to Fresno, causing a panic all around the planet. Happy holidays, everybody. Getting ready for Thanksgiving, and this is our Thanksgiving gift to you.
Right.
Football action here on NNPS TV.
Save you money.
Save your money. But yeah, Greg, to me, this is like if I've had people that knew me when I went to school out in California or went to school up in Massachusetts, and they check out the games online and they're like, wow, high school kids are doing this production, and it's like, yeah, 11th graders and 12th graders are bringing this action to you, folks.
And these bands are great, better than a lot of the college bands, better than most Division III bands for sure. And they take music serious, and Nate and I will talk about some of our favorite music over the years as well as we reminisce in our 4th football game of the year. Kids having a great time. It's all about academics, athletics, and activities. Now, you don't want a pile drive there. We saw the clothesline earlier. We only have 1:45 left in the third quarter. We're deadlocked. Again, it's almost like the best friend scenario. Okay, I've got the best bicycle, I'll buy a better one. I've got the best motorcycle, I'll get the mini bike. I've got the best piece of cake, I'll get the cake and the ice cream. It's like nobody wants to win this game.
Well, it's like that old saying, keeping up with the Joneses, except for tonight, it's keeping up with the Johnsons, particularly Roy Johnson.
The Kardashians.
No Kardashians out here on the field tonight.
Come the Wolverines. That gets deflected. You got to stay focused for 48 minutes. That's been a problem for Virginia and Virginia Tech this year, the Redskins as well. They shouldn't be down to Tampa Bay that bad anyway.
No.
And then come back and say, we got it. Because, look, you still got to play the Patriots, the Saints,
and that was
so many great teams.
That was my big thing with the Redskins. Like I'm a fan of Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know
erratic, though.
If he's the starter, if he should be the starter going forward. But to come out
after a lot of reps
after the game and be like, I told you. It's like, well, you shouldn't have been down.
You're still 3-4.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been down 15, 20 points to the Bucs in the first place.
To a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. So
he really played better than he did.
He did. Like the reason they lost that game wasn't because of Winston.
And a nice catch right there by the Wolverines.
Wow.
Right across the 40. As a tackle made by number 23, Craig Long. See number 10 right there, Kendall Bell. He's been kind of quiet lately.
Kendall Bell, he's been quiet, but when he makes a catch, it's almost always for a big gain, Greg, that we've seen tonight. Here you see Woodside, great connection right there. Bell with a great catch from Tyler, and Bell just doing a great job picking up extra yardage. He, to me, is kind of that.
Don't wait for the receiver to come to you. You got to be on defense going after the receiver.
You got to be proactive. And to me, Bell.
You're not watching the game on TV.
Bell's a great safety valve because anytime they need to pick up a first down, they find him out there in the flats, and
Woodside,
he's a great play.
Woodside trying to find a gap, and they did. He looked like he was lost, but got out of the lane of the lost was Tyir Taylor. Of course, Woodside's had great players like Lily Bell, Stephon Welsh, Billy Kennedy over the years. Both schools in their 20th year. Nice crowd on hand. Nate, of course, will give us the atmosphere. And, folks, that ain't always good.
No, it isn't, but I'll tell you what is good, and that's Tyler right now. Tyler, to me, he doesn't have the size that Aaron Evans had back in the day for Woodside, but he does have some of the same tools. He can find a way to get out of trouble and pick up some yards with his feet.
And the quarterbacks are extensions of the head coaches.
And Danny, this is the kind of quarterback that Danny Dotson loves, one that can run and throw.
And stay tuned, folks. We still have one more full quarter left to play. Down to the final 40 seconds of this third quarter. Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial.
Because that, to me, is when Woodside has been the most successful. They've had quarterbacks in the past that could throw but couldn't run. Then they've had quarterbacks that were the option quarterbacks that could run but couldn't really pass. But when he hit on Aaron Evans, that's when Woodside had a lot of success.
Best player in Woodside's history?
Best player in Woodside history. I'd have to say so. And now, I'm not saying Tyler is as good as Evans, but he's got some potential. He's got one more year.
I'm still thinking Willie Bell, in my opinion, was the best player in their history.
Willie Bell, it's a toss-up between Bell and Evans.
Those two, 1-2 punch.
Yep. I don't think you can go wrong with either one.
Nope.
And Woodside, you talk about it, Greg, 20 years. They've got a lot of players in their history. The Davis boys, Billy Canides. I think that
Stephon Welsh.
Yeah, he was a great receiver. So Woodside's had some players over the years.
They haven't had the star athletes like Heritage has had, or even Menchville or Warwick and Denby, but they've had consistent kind of like the blue-collar type players.
Yes, that's a great
word.
Not
the big names, but like you said, the kid that went to Old Dominion.
Yeah, Aaron Evans, that's a great word for it, consistency. And there you see a Heritage player down.
River now in Grassfield.
And that is Lamont Davis.
Lamont. Fred Sanford, huh?
I'm telling you, coming to join you. And
I love the name Lamont.
Lamont.
Because of Sanford and Son. I got to admit.
You always love
I
Lamont.
love the name Lamont. Because I think of who else? Red Fox.
Yep, the late, great Red Fox.
To me, one of the best actors ever. People don't realize what a great actor Red Fox was.
And they see Coach Massenberg just...
he is just like, what is going on this year? We're 3-5. Last year, Nate Milton, they went 11-2. It's been kind of a disastrous season, but they can still salvage a season with this game tonight. If they lose this game tonight, the ball is going to be almost irrelevant for next week.
And like we talked about when we were grading the schools, Greg, to me, Heritage has had a bad season, but what makes it worse is they were so good last year with Dimitri Holloway. And Holloway's gone, that 11-2 team is gone, and you got some...
Remember a few years ago, Khalid Abdullah,
who was a great running back. And so he's had some great players over the years, but now he's got a group of players that are young. But I think next year, Greg, might be their year because they've got to get that season under their belt.
But how many next years can you say,
But the thing is, tonight they've got to play for tonight and let next year worry about itself. But you talk about coming back next year, Boyd should be back. Amanye Watson should have another year under his belt.
Nobody transfers. That's so that happened to go from the kid from Woodside and Denby, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's LJ, who ended up playing at Denby. We had the chance to call Denby's game. So, yeah, you never know who will have the chance to be back in camp next season.
All right, folks, we got 1 quarter left. That's it. We're in the 4th quarter. It is Woodside and Heritage. They're deadlocked at 29. Stay tuned. We'll be back for the final 12 minutes after these messages.
Peninsula SPCA, there are many ways to help out the animals in the community. There is pet adoption, foster care, volunteer work, and even a petting zoo. All these animals need as much help as they can get, and you can be there for them to give them that help. For more information, visit peninsulaspca.org.
All right, 29-all. You see the cheerleaders. Been a great game so far. We played 36 minutes. We got 12 minutes left. Nate Milton with the recap presented by NNPS TV.
What a game it has been, folks. 29-29 is your score, but let's find out how we got there. In the first quarter, started things off with Jeremiah Boyd with a pass to Amanye Watson. Woodside responded as Tyre Tyler hit Deontay Chesson with a pass, and then they scored a 2-point conversion following that to make it 8-7. Dimitri Banks had a touchdown run for the Woodside Wolverines that made it 15-7 at the end of the first quarter. Jeremiah Boyd started things off in the second quarter once again with a pass to Amanye Watson. Woodside responded, Tyre Tyler to Kendall Bell, and then Roy Johnson III with the first of his 2 touchdown runs to end the second quarter. 22-22 at the end of the second quarter. Picking it back up after the half, Tamir Walker with a TD run for Woodside. Roy Johnson III responded with a TD run for the Heritage Hurricanes, and that brings us to 29-29, tied up here as we head into the fourth quarter. Greg Bigaveras.
And flags all over the place. Thank you very much, Nate Milton. Well done. 29-all. 1 second's gone by the fourth quarter. Woodside's played 6 of their 10 games right here at Todd Stadium. To the scoreboard there, respectively. Heritage lost in the postseason last year to Monacan.
And this really feels like one of those games, Greg, that it might be whoever has the ball last. That's who's going to win.
Key loss for Woodside last year was L.J. Taylor, who's now at Denby. He almost took care of that with a win this year, but Woodside got it. And, of course, Heritage, like Nate mentioned, Dimitri Holloway. Wolverines on the ground across the 20 in the aqua uniforms in black and white. Well-fought game. Again, the energy level's been pretty much the same. It's nobody's like had that Ray Lewis, I want this more. They need like that fired up, that Ray Lewis speech, I want this more.
Right. We haven't had that Ray Lewis, what time is it? Game time.
None of that tonight.
None of that.
You would think that for Woodside especially,
they would have more of a sense of urgency.
Right. It's almost been like a status quo. Woodside on the outside. And in the end zone he goes. That's what we're talking about. Tyler.
Sound like Tyre heard you up here, Greg. He said, he said, what sense of urgency? I got you, sense of urgency.
That's it.
Tyler on the QB keeper. Let's check out this great option play by TT. Does a good job following the blocks. And there you see just a nice cut. Unfortunately, you see the Heritage man trying to bring him down.
That was Johnson trying to get him.
Johnson tried to bring him down. Unfortunately, didn't get him. And there you see, once he hits that corner, Tyler is off to the races.
Not just any Johnson, it's a carrying Johnson. Extra point coming up. You never know with Dotson. He might go for 2. You never know, but I think he's going to go for the extra point. Kick is up. Flags all over the place. Nate, how about the atmosphere overall tonight at Todd Stadium?
Let me tell you, Greg.
It's like you can hear them. We're not in the library. Remember that. We're not in the library.
When I started the game, the atmosphere, Greg, it was going to be one thing. But as the games progressed, I'd say the atmosphere has gotten a little bit better, Greg.
Good.
And I think that's because we've got 2 bands here. We've got some fans for both sides out here in the audience tonight. And, when the game first started, it was a little quieter. It was hovering around that D range.
Good place to study.
I could have studied up here, worked on some homework. But as the game's going on, it's gotten louder. It's gotten a little bit livelier. Still a little quiet for my liking for one of the best games in Newport News this week. But I'm going to go ahead and give this game a C.
That's good for you.
I'm going to give it a high C, much like the fruit punch. This is a fruit punch game. It's a high C.
There you go. Glad you're with us for your viewing pleasure right here on Cox Cable 47 5017 and NPSTV.com. That'd be cool if we got an app. Just put an app on our phones and just watch the game off the app.
An NPS TV app, that would be great. I think we need to get somebody on there.
Maybe
a student could take that up for one of their projects this year.
Right.
Build a channel.
We got the YouTube channel.
Build an NPS TV app.
What's bad, though, is when you start to see the websites trying to copy the apps.
Right.
They should distinguish themselves from the apps, though. You're not an app. You're a website.
Now, my question, though, Greg, is...
Have you noticed that websites are trying to look like apps?
It's the crazy thing about it. It's like, it should be the other way around.
I mean, yeah.
But
apps
now,
should be copying websites.
If we do make a NNPS TV Channel 47 app, do we get residuals from that? That's what I want to know. Can I talk to Bill Barlow and get this in writing?
We'll get to the crew list in just a few.
If Bill Barlow can talk to my agent Sam Price so we can make this contract work out.
Atmosphere grade C.
The atmosphere is a C. I think it started off pretty slow, but as the game has gotten closer, the bands have gotten into it, been playing back and forth with each other. The crowds are starting to get a little bit livelier. I think this is a
energy level for both teams. How would you grade them?
The energy level has fluctuated. It's been up and down. At the start of the game, I think both teams had a lot of energy, and then now they've kind of settled down to a level where...
Almost like they had their Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. They must have had a turkey or something at halftime, fried turkey, some stuff in it, because they came out with a little bit of the itis. So right now, I'd say at the beginning of the game, it was probably a B, but right now the energy is probably like a C level.
I'll give the bands, though, an A.
The bands are out here having fun tonight. Yeah,
all right,
the bands are having a nice little battle back and forth this evening.
36-29. Woodside, here he is again. Roy Johnson III. Heritage on the year averaging 19 on offense, giving up 25 on defense. Woodside at 32 on offense, giving up 20 on defense per game. And tonight, starting 6-29, Woodside over Heritage, the 20th year of these schools, respectively. The oldest school, Newport News, of course, is Warwick, then Denby, then Menchville, then Heritage and Woodside. Great rivalry tonight.
And there you see, we've been calling this man's number all night long, Greg. RJ3.
He'll be a player to watch for next year.
Definitely. I think, he could be pick up where Shackelford left off this season.
This has been a seesaw, like a ping pong match tonight. We'll see who can have the advantage here in the final 10:35 left. That's all we got left in this game. You almost feel like that one extra score, whatever it is going to be enough, because no team has been able to get a big lead tonight.
Neither team has been able to really separate themselves. And you talk about 10:30 left on the game. If you're Heritage, it might be 10:30 left on your season. They've got to come out and find some way to respond. There you see the score, 29-36.
If Heritage loses tonight, they got a losing record.
Yep.
Period. No matter what they do next week. Woodside at least wants to make the playoffs, even if they go to the south side.
Yeah, Woodside is kind of playing with house money a little bit in the fact that they could survive a loss tonight, but they don't want to give it up the chance. They want to control their own destiny and win tonight.
Down and along 3-4.
Heritage, on the other hand, they got to win. Like, if Heritage loses tonight, Greg, it's that old song we might sing a little bit later on tonight, Turn Out the Lights.
It's too early to sing it right now, though. It's too early to sing it.
No, nobody's singing right now.
We'll do Nate's top 3 desserts here in just a moment before we get to the report card as well as the crew list. We got to get to all that in the fourth quarter. And Nate's got to sing his song, but not yet.
Not yet. I don't know who I'm going to sing it
the other 3 games, we sang it early. But right now, you haven't sang it yet. There he is again. The player of the game for Heritage, at least. Who else? Ooh, that looked like a late hit to me. That kid got pushed down pretty hard.
And Roy got some words for him on the way back.
He's a trooper. Nate, top 3 desserts.
Oh, man. Speaking of desserts, that was a sweet run by our man Roy Johnson III. Let's take a look, folks.
Reminds you of that hamburger place, Roy Rogers.
But can I get some extra fries with this right there? AC does a great job just exploding, keeping his eyes downfield.
That's the key. He had his vision looking straight ahead.
Didn't get shoved out of bounds, but another great run by Roy Johnson.
He almost had to look like objects in the mirror closer than they appear.
Roy Johnson was close to scoring right there.
He didn't stay in his lane, folks.
Had a great game tonight.
He did not stay in his lane. 36-29. 9:20 left. You can feel the drama intensity going. Nowhere there by Heritage, and they can't afford plays like that.
Right.
Nate, top 3 desserts.
Top 3 desserts. I'm going to stick with the holiday theme, Greg, and go number 3, apple pie. Apple pie with a little ice cream on top.
There you go. Number 2.
Number 2, one of my favorite desserts. I love ice cream, and I think one of my favorite desserts would have to be just a nice classic.
For the holiday desserts.
For the holidays, just a classic ice cream sundae, Greg, with all the fixings.
There you go.
All the fixings, caramel, whipped cream, and everything.
And number 1, Nate.
Number 1 is something that my mom makes every Thanksgiving, and that's homemade sweet potato pie.
There you go.
With she puts like caramel and pecans up on it. It's just a wonderful, delicious treat.
Got Reggie up here with us.
Speaking of delicious treats,
Reggie Crudup, the one and only. I'll never forget one time. We can say this now and joke around. Reggie one time was on TV with me, and we had to get Reggie to talk. And Reggie and I are not that far apart in age anyway to begin with. And he looked at me and said, "Greg, are you kidding me? I'm a behind-the-scenes guy." I said, "Reggie, you got your headset on." Well, he don't mind putting that headset on now.
Oh, man.
Reggie, you know that. You and I pretty much grew up together. And that was interesting because you were learning about yourself, what a great behind-the-scenes person you were, and how mature of an adult. You took it serious from day one as a kid and really excelled well, and you've been in Huntington.
Yeah, so I was able to bring the kids out today, and they really enjoyed what they got to see today. Excuse me, I just walked up those steps.
Right.
But the kids enjoyed it, Now, we do a series of field trips, We definitely come here. They get to see what you all do behind the scenes and get to see you guys. We'll go to Wavy TV. We do a lot, so the kids really enjoy it.
Right. I mean, and I'm not kidding, folks. Reggie and I pretty much did grow up together the last 20 years. We did a lot of things together as kids. And I'm really proud of you, what you've done. You did some stuff in Hampton, Channel 10, and you and Ray Price have really brought on a lot to the kids, with the middle school kids. That's where it starts, not at high school, but middle school.
Right, definitely.
What about your old school work?
Rough year.
Yeah.
It's always next year.
Hey.
36-29. Heritage right there, keeping on the ground. They throw it. Wow. Nope. No dice.
Talk about missed opportunity.
It's almost like who wants it more now? Who wants it more?
Well, that was a broken play, and Heritage was able to get a man open in the end zone, but unfortunately the pass was just not there.
Not quite.
But this is always exciting, a chance to come out here and watch these games. And Reggie, you talk about the kids and that next generation. Well, we got a player down here.
Your player and a flag, yep.
A player and a flag down. We'll see what's going on with that. But Reggie, when they get a chance to not only learn in the classroom, but also to come out here and see something like this live and in person, what type of impact do you think that has on the kids?
A big impact, because with them being middle schoolers, it's exciting anyway. Just come out and see the band and the cheerleaders and see both teams and be right there on the field with it. So it's a big impact on them. And a lot of them are already saying, hey, I'm going to telecom when I get to 11th grade. So
Reggie, you remember back in the day, we did a track meet with you too as well.
Yeah, I was running.
Right in this field.
Yep. I came in last place that race.
Yep.
But it seems like there's a lot more distractions for kids now with the phone.
Yeah, a whole lot.
And you want them to do about what we did is the interaction with the kids.
Right. So
back in the day, the Ferguson War kids, they all knew each other. The Menchville kids.
And these stands would be packed.
Yeah. Now they don't know each other.
Right.
It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
We all knew each other in the schools.
Well, it's funny because you talk about you're in a situation where the more we can get connected through social media, the less connected people are in real life.
Right.
And it's like we come out here, these stands used to be full when we were playing in high school.
And Reggie, the best app is called Real Life. There's no app for real life.
Absolutely.
Real life is in person. 8:22 left in this ball game. Greg Bickaveras, Nate Milton, glad you're with us. Reggie Crudup as well, who was in the telecom program. 36-29 Woodside. All right, we got a big third down. We talked about it, third down conversions. Heritage right now in trouble, and he falls down. He falls down. Jeremiah Boyd could not get his footing. You can't blame that on the rain. That was nerves, Nate.
No, that's a Charlie Brown moment right there.
Yeah,
we talk about the holiday season. Charlie Brown, a big part of the holiday season. Boyd did a great job avoiding that first rush, but just couldn't get his feet back under him as he was trying to run out of the pocket, and that's a bad break for Heritage right there.
Woodside's holding on to that 7-point lead. It's been like a ping-pong match, tug-of-war, two evenly matched teams, although Woodside's got the better record. Greg Bickaveras, Nate Milton, Heritage in the white uniforms, won the state championship 15 years ago. On the outside, nowhere. That was a dangerous pass. And you don't want to do desperate things. It's still enough time left in the game.
No, Boyd had a man downfield, but he underthrew him. And if you're going to throw that deep, you got to make sure that you have the pass that you want. And then you can't throw it in that much coverage, because if Woodside picks it off, Greg, it might be over.
See, and you can't fool a team like Dotson. And on that note, you can almost see where this game is going just on that series. It's so transparent. You can't fool Dotson, who's a playoff perennial team, consistent team, and he'll take every opportunity now with the running game to do checkmate.
Yeah, it's a different story if this is the Heritage team of last year. That was 11-12. But this is not last year. This is this year. And right now, they're a team that they've got some good players, but they're nowhere near the level they were last season.
And, folks, right now what you're going to see is what Dotson learned a lot under Riemann, Jimmy Laycock, and William Mary. When you've got the lead, keep it on the ground.
It's like those old Ric Flair matches in the NWA when he was getting ready to put the figure 4 on. He said, and now it's time to go to school.
Right. And, right now they're going to milk the clock. And the clock is an issue. And we'll see how Heritage responds. They've got to be proactive on defense too, Reggie. They just can't stand there.
Hey, that last play might have been the nail to put.
They're not watching the TV tonight.
It's tough. It's going to be tough from here.
Sometimes you go out there and play yourself. Then you realize, no, I don't. There's number 23. Tamir
after going up these stairs, I don't think we want to get back out there on that field.
What did Danny Glover say? I'm getting too old for this.
Getting too old for this.
We're still young. We are still young, though.
Hey, all in our heads, right?
We're not 18 or 20 anymore.
Not at all. Far from it.
Like my dad always told me, be young at heart, but also be smart about it. Don't try to get out there with them young bucks if you're not a young buck anymore.
All right. Surprising that Woodside's going to do this, but it worked.
Wow.
And it keeps working. And he slides right down. Number 2, Tyler Taylor.
Tyler's had a great game.
Tyler.
Oh, wow.
You can see the exhaustion on Heritage's team. The official went down, folks. Oh, my. Oh, my goodness.
Never want to
that's
see
the thing.
that.
We talk about a physical sport. The referees, Reggie, they're their bodies are on the line every time they come out here.
And a lot of times people forget about the referees,
It can be dangerous for them. They're not in the shape these kids are.
Yeah, well, because you're in the middle of all that action, and you got to, you never want to see that because they don't have the pads on. They don't have the helmets on.
So they have no protection at all.
When they're taking that impact, they're taking that full impact.
See if we can see it happens again. One of the officials got hurt big time here. I don't know if it's in the picture view or not. Oh, right there.
Right there in the
middle.
middle.
My goodness. Wait a second.
He hit his head.
Now, I don't know why he even touched him.
Yeah, that was really unnecessary.
That was really unnecessary. I don't know why. Now, we've seen games this year where we've seen some negative signs of that. We hope that's not the case there, but on the naked eye, it looked like he could have avoided that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's one thing to say when we have the advantage of slow motion and the kids out there in the heat of battle, but to me that looks like a play where he could have ran around the official.
Oh, yeah. Nobody was touching the Heritage player.
No.
No, let's just hope he slipped. The player slipped, for that matter.
And again, like you said, the officials aren't padded, they aren't protected, so this is not what you want to see, folks.
No. If you're losing, because these are, let's face it, these men out here, they're not even our age. They're no spring chicken.
No, but they love the game and they love being out
the
here.
Exercise, the
with
fresh
these
air.
Kids, yeah, they love giving back to the community, and so matter of fact, I had a ride to the stadium tonight with a guy who was a referee for 15 years, and now he's a cab driver in the city, and he was telling me some great stories about just kind of calling games in Newport News and Hampton and Richmond. So these guys give a lot of their time to these young men out here on the field.
Nate's Cabs Confessions.
It was like taxi cab confessions mixed with a little NFL films, if you will. But yeah, you never want to see something like this happen to one of our officials.
Glad he's smiling a little bit, but I think that might be it for him for the game. Yeah, he's done. He is done. That's not what he wanted to do tonight. Yeah, you want sportsmanship at all, and it includes the referees too.
Yeah, they were able to make his way to the sidelines and get a seat, and he's getting some water in him. So it looks like he was just shaking up a little bit, had the wind knocked out of him a little bit. But again, you never want to see something like that happen. And they see the coaches, staff, and the trainers over there taking a look at him.
Yep, and of course our game has been superseded by the penalty. And the umpire that was injured there was George Adamowski. We hope George gets better.
A great job tonight, George.
Yep. And so it shows you this is not touch football. This is a physical, violent game. Regardless, this is a violent game.
Yeah, and the officials, like we said, they're not in the same shape as the football players, but they got to be able to run up and down the field with these guys, and they're right there in the middle of the action calling things. So, you got to give credit to these men out here that are giving them their time for these kids.
Now, you wonder if that can backfire on Heritage now and really just, a negative consequence like that. They're down already. And they only got 5:45 left in the game. But you got to put that aside now.
And we'll see. Did that time that was taken for the official?
Move your drink, Nate.
Did that time that was taken for the official? Is that going to benefit either team, or is it going to be to the detriment of Heritage because they had about 3 or 4 minutes where nothing was going on?
Exactly. And don't forget to move the dessert and the food too.
Move the dessert and the food, and move.
You got everything here. You got the
Halloween
food,
candy
dessert
from last time.
We'll get the Nate's report card here in the crew list here in just a few moments. We got to get to it because the game is.
I'm going to go ahead and give you a spoiler alert, Greg. This game gets an A.
All right, Nate, give us a report card first of all, for Heritage, including that play.
For Heritage, for offense, defense, special teams, it's been a solid game, but not a perfect game. They've had some opportunities that I think they could have taken better advantage of. On offense, I'm going to give Heritage a B, Greg, because I think this Woodside defense is underrated. They've been able to move the ball in this defense, and Roy Johnson III has been a pleasant surprise tonight. For the defense, Man, this is a tough one because I think they've given up some plays. I'm going to give the defense a C. So offense B, defense C. Overall, well, I'll tell you right after this play.
Good tackle right there by the Hurricanes.
Overall, Greg, for the Heritage Hurricanes, this might surprise you. I'm going to give them a B because I think it would be easy to, if you're the kids, to come in
with that 3-5 record.
3-5 record, play with your head down, not really give the effort needed tonight.
36-29 Woodside. For Woodside?
So for Woodside, on offense for Woodside, there you see the cheerleaders. They get an A tonight for senior night. But for the Woodside offense, I like what they've done. Tyler has been pretty crisp tonight. He's been pretty good tonight. I'm going to give the offense a B. For defense, I think the defense, to me, they should have stopped. They used to see Coach Massenberg on the sidelines coaching up his team. I think the defense should have done a better job against Heritage, so I'm going to give that defense a C.
Way overthrown. I'm surprised Dotson's not milking the clock here.
Yeah.
Because Heritage, the injured official could have affected their whole team.
You don't want to leave that door open for Heritage to sneak back in.
Continue with Woodside.
For offense, I gave him a B. For defense, I'm going to give him a C. Overall, for Woodside, I'm going to flip-flop, and I'm going to say overall, even though Woodside's winning, I'm going to give him a C. Because I think Woodside should have, as tough as Heritage is, Woodside should have came in and made a statement tonight, and I don't think they've done
Neither team has made a statement tonight, no.
No, neither team has made a statement.
The band has, though. They've been the best part of the game.
Both bands have made a statement.
Although we have an even game here. And Woodside keeping in the air. Nice catch.
Hello.
Kendall Bell, all right. The executive producer of NNPS TV, proud Menchville graduate. We'll get to that in just a second after this play.
Big play right there. Great block by the Woodside Wolverines. And there you see at the last minute is able to release the ball.
You surprised that Tyler's throwing it?
Tyler the Bell. I'm a little bit surprised that they're still throwing it, Greg. But I don't know. Maybe, a lot of times we talk about some things that you do at the end of games is not for this week. It's for next week.
Yep, and for the postseason too, if you can make it.
Yep.
But the bottom line is you have to stay focused for 48 minutes. Woodside 36, Heritage 29.
That was a big.
The executive producer is Michelle Price. The coordinating producer of our football telecast, also executive producer of Sports Highlights and Fusion Fitness, is Ray Price. Since 1992, has done a great job with us. And Tyler.
Is it good?
Not quite. Not quite. Our director since 1993. So if he had 40 years of experience in 1993, that means he's got 62 years of experience now, folks. Let's do the math. Bill Barlow. Great job, William. Carl Daniels as well, who's done a great job as our instructor, as well as the engineer. Glad to see him tonight, Greg Lesko. Nate will get the student crew list soon. And Woodside looks like they're going to seal the deal. Sealing the deal. How appropriate. Dimitri Banks cashed that check.
Who said the banks were closed on Friday night?
Cash the check. You got interest. You got a CD. You got the IRA, the FDIC, and you got number 4, Dimitri Banks.
And here comes Dimitri Banks. Wait a minute. I can't write a check? Well, let's just go direct deposit then, and I'm going to deposit it here in the end zone.
For a long time, you didn't even like direct deposit.
Yeah, for a long time I didn't.
Nate, I want to see that check.
Now I love direct deposit. But for a long time, I fought against it.
We're getting close to Nate's song, too, folks. And the extra point is up, and it's good.
Wow.
So we got now 43-29. The hourglass is ticking with 3:41 left. Nate, student crew list.
Student crew list. All right. Shout out to all of our great student crew tonight. We got Brian Peterson, primetime Deion Davis. Summer may be over, but Summer Ely is in the truck with us tonight. Eleanor Stuck, Carmen Scott, Benjamin B.A. Anderson, Brandon Marrero in the booth with us tonight. Stephanie Hot Pockets Bolito, Hannah Pennant, Dwayne Peterson, Johnny's Dale, Nia Kelly, Joshy Stout, DeAndre Foskey, you saw him up here with us for a little bit. Now he's on the camera because
like
he can
Houdini.
do everything. He's all over the place. So shout out to all of our student crew, and shout out to our security up here in the booth, Sam Price Security. The best security money can buy, or at least we can buy right now.
Hey, they need that security in the field, too, the officials.
Oh, I'm telling you, maybe that'll be Sam's new job. He'll be the bodyguard for the referee.
Yeah.
You're like, back off.
Hey, don't give Sam an idea. He might take you up on it.
Sam Price, bodyguard to the stars.
Folks. People work all week long. They enjoy our telecast. Hey, who says you need to go to a comedy club, right, Nate?
I'm telling you, Grace. We give you comedy. We give you drama. We give
Swivel
you
kick. Uh-oh. Looks like Woodside's got it. Woodside's the more proactive team. They deserve to win tonight. Nate, with that said, my friend, it is time. Is it getting time?
So we hear the band tuning up, Greg.
Oh, they're starting to warm you up.
Warming up.
You got the phone to help you the script.
There we go. We're tuning it up. And again, no disrespect to Heritage, Heritage came out and played a tough game.
Not in the second half.
But in the second half, we need a little bit more from them.
Like the soda without no fizz.
Yeah, soda without fizz. They were a little flat, Greg, but I give them credit because a lot of teams I think might have been flat
3-5 record
from the beginning with that 3-5 record.
It's been a really tough year for Heritage.
So I think they'll be better next year, but unfortunately this was Woodside's night.
And there he is on the outside. Silent night, whatever you want to say, it's working tonight.
We're in the holiday spirit. You know, it was Halloween a few weeks ago, folks, but the trick or treat.
Walker, yep.
It was a treat tonight for the Wolverines.
We'll get under 3 minutes, and I think Nate will be safe to sing his song.
Yeah, I think about 15 seconds to go, and we can sing that song.
And a little bit extra bass tonight.
A little extra
courtesy
bass.
of ABC and Don Meredith.
Yep.
Who worked with the late Howard Cosell, who I loved on radio and TV both.
That was a great pairing.
Frank Gifford.
There you see.
Who's that
student crew?
We can't see his face. Anyway. 2:45 left. Nate Milton, take it away.
All right. And we sing this with all respect to the late, great Danny Don Meredith from Monday Night Football, and we send this out to the Heritage Hurricanes. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Turn out the lights, the party's over. And tomorrow night, next week, we'll do the same old thing again.
And I think that's a good way. Both teams matched the energy level in the first half. Woodside came out more hungry. Yep. We said that. Who's going to convert on third downs? Who's going to make some big stops? Who's going to take that extra step? And it was Woodside. They're playing like a playoff team. Heritage is not.
And I mean, Woodside came in on paper. This should have been an easier game for Woodside. But like we said, Greg,
they struggle too.
When you get those rivals, you can throw those records out the window. Heritage played a solid game, but at the end of the day, they didn't play well enough to win. Woodside did, and they get the win tonight. A big victory in this big rivalry.
We wish the best to George Imowski, who got hit pretty hard during the game. One of the umpires, respectively. I want to thank again our good buddy Jim Mayhew for giving the crew list tonight for the referees.
And I'll tell you what, Greg, this is the best game that we've had the chance to call this season.
All year. The other three games, blowouts. Blowouts and shutouts.
I think overall, since I'm in the grading spirit, I think I'd give this grade an A. It was very intriguing. To me, sports is the ultimate reality TV, Greg.
It is.
You get drama, you get comedy, you get action.
And there's an ebb and flow because it constantly changes.
Yeah.
It's a blowout. It's good that in Newport News we don't have many close games that often.
We had two great characters on the sideline. Who needs Lucius and Cookie from Empire when you got Danny Dodson and George Massenberg?
That's it.
Here we go.
Nate's on top of it tonight, folks. Nate, the Richard Pryor of comedy tonight.
Hey, you know, if this broadcasting thing doesn't work out, I can try for it to be my next career in stand-up, Greg.
That's it. But, of course, anybody wanting to see Nate in a reunion, there is a big fee to go with it.
Right. I need an appearance fee. I don't think that's too much to ask for my high school reunion.
They can hit you up on Facebook. It don't matter.
I mean, just
that ain't gonna work.
I don't need the world, Greg. Maybe just a limo service, a couple bottles, VIP
of water,
of course, because that's what I drink. Because I'm healthy, losing weight for Thanksgiving.
Cheerleaders right there. Woodside's going to go to 6-3. Heritage 3-6. Heritage will have a losing record. Hard to believe. Not too long ago, they went 0-10.
Not too long ago, they went 0-10. And
last year, they went 11-2.
Last season, they went 11-2.
With a lot of players back, kind of surprising.
Well, I think, you miss some key leaders, and that's the big thing. Not only do you miss players like a DeAndre Holloway, but when you have that target on your back, it's one thing to be the challenger, Greg, but when you're the champ, it's a little tougher.
And both teams have another game. This game is almost, as some of my great history teachers would say, complete, checkmate, final. This is almost over the last 25 seconds.
This was a nice.
Woodside's looking to go to the postseason, probably be on the road. Heritage is trying to salvage another win left in the season.
Yeah, disappointing season for the Hurricanes, but I think there's lessons they can learn for next year.
That's about life, learning lessons daily. And this game, folks, is now an end. It's a final. Woodside wins it 43-29 by 14 points in a 2-hour and 45-minute contest exclusively on NNPS TV, Cox Cable 47, FiOS 17, and NNPSTV.com, and a great rivalry game in the 20-year battle between these two schools. The Wolverines victorious by 14 points. Stay tuned. We'll come back for the fifth quarter after these messages.
Aviation Academy offers a variety of hands-on experiences. Chooses select students to create a great small community. Is located at an airport for applied learning. And is career-oriented for students who are going to pursue aviation in their future. For more information, please contact the Aviation Academy at 757-886-2745.
All right, back here for the fifth quarter, and of course it was Woodside winning it 43-29 over their arch rival, the Heritage Hurricanes. Greg Bicaveros along with Nate Milton right here for our fifth quarter, our fourth game of the year, our final game of the year, of course. Great contest tonight. Started off good in the first half. Woodside wanted it more.
Yeah, this was a great game. We talked about it at the top of the show, Greg. These are two teams that really wanted to come out here, not just for the rivalry, but for the postseason implications and put on a good game. And it was close for most of the game. 22-22 at the half, 29-29 at the end of the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, Woodside did what good teams do. They find a way to win, and they were able to take advantage of some of Heritage's mistakes and missed opportunities, and Woodside did enough to win.
I mean, Heritage answered back, but Woodside wanted it more, and they're a little bit more proactive the final 24 minutes.
And it's like, we talked about the prize fight all night long. It's like the prize fight or pro wrestling. It's not enough to tie the champion. You got to beat the champion. And in this game coming in, Woodside had the better record. They were the favorite. They were the champion. And Heritage, unfortunately, did not do enough to win. So for Heritage, it was a good effort, but we'll see what they can do next year. For Woodside, the sky's the limit. They got to build on this win and take it forward to the postseason.
And try to advance and go a little bit further. Heritage will try to at least salvage the last game of the season with the win, but they have to look forward to as well to 2016 in the offseason is where it's going to start counting now.
Yeah, I know. You and I have the pumpkin pie and the stuffing to look forward to, but for the football teams, for Woodside, they look forward to that postseason. For Heritage, it's next year, because I do think Coach Massenberg has some good players there if they're able to keep that team together, because Heritage could be a team that is a force to be reckoned with next season.
And we thank our crew all year long. Also want to thank Chris James for doing a great job for putting our games on the air on Wednesday and Friday night, showcasing them on TV on 7 o'clock. She does a great job for us as well. Big baseball fan, working great with Ray Price. And, of course, always a lot of fun, too, folks, during our 25th year of exclusive prep sports, where other TV channels come and go with high school sports. We're a consistent home for 25 years right here on Cox Cable 47, 517, and NNPSTV.com. What a great crew. I want to thank Fazoli's again all year long for their 3 games support. Ray Price and his people as well, and the great students that make it happen before and after. They get here early and they make it all work. We look forward to sports highlights, other great events as well. For more, log on to nnpstv.com. Once again, Woodside wins it 43-29 over Heritage. For Ray Price and Nate Melton, and of course Hannah Pennant, I'm Greg Bicaveras. We'll talk to you soon.